We are live. We are live. This is the Wrestling for Life Network. We are here for another stream tonight. We are here for TNA Impact. There's a lot going down tonight. This is the go home show for Rebellion, as Rebellion is coming up this coming Sunday, and we will be here live for that. But I'm excited for tonight's episode of TNA Impact. I know Nick is excited as well, so let's get this thing started. What is up, guys? This is the Wrestling for Life Network. This is another stream for TNA Impact. Like I said, I am excited for tonight. I am not here alone. We got Big Nick.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Wrestling for Life Network proudly brings to you its YouTube tag stream champions of the world, the man who puts the T in TNA, Ringsider Anthony. I am Big Nick, and we were talking about this a little bit before we went live, because yes, hi everyone, go home show for Rebellion. But it's a little quick time. We just had Unbreakable, which we talked about seemed kind of based around that Intercontinental title, and now we're following right back up with Rebellion.
Yeah, so Unbreakable was definitely surrounding that new title that TNA just introduced, which I think is a beautiful belt, and I love the blue strap. So now I think we're kicking it into high gear as we go into Rebellion. Not many major storylines coming out of Unbreakable, other than we did have the conclusion of Sami Callihan and I can't think of his name, Mance Warner. And Mance Warner, we had the conclusion of that storyline. So that was the only real big storyline going into Unbreakable. They're saving everything for Rebellion this weekend.
Well, we also had the big storyline of say his name and he appears, pop up and show up at WrestleMania.
Yeah, huge moment for TNA, huge moment for Joe Hendry. Didn't expect, well, I mean, I expected it, but didn't expect it because I kept putting it in the chat that Joe Hendry was going to be Randy Orton's mystery opponent, and that's exactly who it was. But having the TNA title on WWE TV at WrestleMania in front of 60,000+ people, great publicity for TNA and for Joe Hendry.
So, okay, so you're not one of the mindset that I've seen of that Joe Hendry got buried, TNA got buried. Everybody doesn't know what the term buried means. Chat, you can let me know too. I don't think I'm with you. I think it was very much you got the TNA world champion out there in a primetime spot. We didn't, it was a quick last minute replacement. We saw that Cena or Randy's going after Cena now, so you weren't going to have him involved with something that's going to continue after.
Exactly. I think the term buried needs to stay with people that are deceased and are about to be buried, because I think the IWC just doesn't know the term of being buried, because being buried, if being buried is showing up at WrestleMania from another company with the world title, wrestling one of the biggest wrestlers in sports entertainment history and Randy Orton, then I want to be buried. I'm just saying.
Fair enough. So, but should we say hi to the chat before we get buried in the chat?
Absolutely.
Yeah, as we got about 10 minutes before the show kicks off. But Maggie, the first one in here, saying, hey, KJ, Big Nick, and hello, everyone. We'll say hi to Anthony, too. Anthony's here. I know you were here early. Here at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We weren't going live until 7:45. Eric, what up? Hey, Wrestling for Life buddies. Can't wait for tonight. And Rebellion going to rock this Sunday in LA. Are you, again, with that follow-up, with that back-to-back, are you really excited for Rebellion? Because like you said, this is kind of where we get the payoffs. We get, the Ethan Page, Frankie Kazarian, Joe Hendry match. We get the Nemeth brothers versus the Hardys, all that.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited for Rebellion. Today was the first time I glanced at the card since Unbreakable. Kind of forgot what was going down because they were focusing heavily on Unbreakable. And after seeing the card, I mean, it's looking nice. It's really looking good, especially with Mustafa Ali versus Mike Santana. I'm excited for the second bout between those two.
That's a sleeper match. Macklin versus Eric Young's a sleeper match. That ladder match for the X division, I think, is going to steal the show.
Oh, absolutely. I'm excited for the return of Ultimate X at Rebellion.
Is it an Ultimate X, or is it? I thought it was just a straight ladder match.
Oh no, it's Ultimate X. They're making its return, so I'm excited for that. And I think they added a new competitor today. He used to be in WWE. Can't think of his name at the moment.
Reggie. It was Reggie.
Yes.
Now he's something else there. He was in GCW. Remember, he was Scripps too for a little bit.
Yes, yes. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see him in this match too. So yeah, it's gonna be good. Definitely.
Right. Kevin, what up? Sean Reed, what is up? Hashtag WFU Wrestling for Life Nation. The last few months of TNA have been really good. I assume TNA Anthony would agree.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's been really on fire the past couple of months, and I think they're just going to continue that trend as they try to fill out these bigger arenas that they have booked throughout. Well, not really throughout, but Slammiversary is a pretty big arena that they've booked, so they gotta keep the product hot.
Well, is it something to be said when you get the reaction for a guy like Joe Hendry? Yes, it is the WrestleMania crowd, but to have that big of a reaction and everybody instantly knew who he was, and that RKO right out of the pose is like top 3 RKOs of all time for me.
It was so smooth. It was so smooth. You really didn't see it coming, even though you think you expected it. You still didn't expect it.
Right? And I love everyone that's doing like the edits of like doon doon doon. We'll be right back.
Right.
TJ, what up? The Yeet God, what up? What up? Ken saying it. Well, speaking of believing in people, Ken believes in you, Anthony.
Well,
Do with
thank
that
you,
information
Ken.
what you will.
I believe in you too, and I believe in myself.
There you go. Positive affirmations with Anthony. Michael, what up? Alexis, say his name and he appears at WrestleMania. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Cherokee, what up? Vance, what up? Damien, the leader of the Hopium tribe. Spaz with a $10 super chat. Here, now I can make you do this. You read this one because I always read these.
Okay. What's up, Sticky and Tony Rings with all the nicknames I mentioned in my Rebellion preview? Cheap plug up now where you vid in pod. Hopefully I said that right. Do you think Ethan brings the title to NXT after Trick screws Joe? This is very interesting. That last question, because after what happened on NXT this past week, I feel like anything could go at Rebellion, and Joe losing the title to Ethan Page would be insane for it to happen and have Ethan be the first person to hold a TNA title under the WWE umbrella. Am I excited for that to happen? Absolutely. We got to check out Rebellion to see how Trick gets involved, because I feel like he is.
But wouldn't Trick versus Hendry for the title almost be a bigger match than then it would feel like it's either you get a triple threat and Ethan Page is just there to be the middleman, or they have to face each other to chase Ethan Page. I'd rather Henry retain, Trick pops out after the fact or what have you, and then you get that confrontation.
You could do that too. That might be even the better plan, because you can have Ethan Page take the pinfall, because I believe Joe Hendry took the pinfall from Ethan Page when they squared off in NXT. So you can have Ethan take the pin, and you could have Trick come out and confront Joe Hendry after he retains the title. That sets up something for what's the next pay-per-view? I think it's Under Siege.
There you go. There you go. Or would they do it on an NXT, like a takeover or anything? They're doing Worlds Collide with AAA, but I feel like that's quite a ways out.
That's quite a ways out. They could do it on an episode of NXT. They've been dropping those over the past couple of months too. So that could be the case of having it on NXT too.
Would that be crazy though if you have a TNA world title match on NXT weekly television?
It would be insane. We haven't seen it yet. It would be insane. Or I just thought of something. The next live episode of TNA is May 1st. I have to go check the calendar, but I'm like 99% sure I'm right, which is next week, actually, I think.
Ooh.
I don't know. I need to look. But you could do it. You could do it there too. So that's a possibility.
Fair enough. But Spaz, thank you for the $10 super chat. And again, as I see the chat filling up, we got about 40, 45 people kicking with us. Let's see if we can keep that number growing. But we do have the super chats, the super stickers. That's the way it makes you sure we get to your comment and everything, and it helps support the channel. Helps keep the lights on. See, we got all these bright neon lights. We're both in bars. We need to keep the lights on, pair of bill tabs, all of that, folks.
Yeah. Absolutely. And yes, I just checked the website. TNA is live May 1st. So yeah.
There you go. But Just Joe, what up? Is Hendry's injury legit or storyline? I assume. Oh no, well the shoulder injury. I thought that was kind of legit.
I think it was legit, but then he was cleared to wrestle at Unbreakable, and obviously he wrestled like 3 days later at WrestleMania. So I'm sure he's okay now.
I don't know. I mean, the more he keeps wrestling, the more I'm kind of thinking it was just kind of a story bit the whole time here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does the whole "I'm not gonna drop it, I'm gonna be your fighting champion." Vance, what up? Brandon, what up? Good evening, Wrestling for Life gang on the home stretch of the work week. Absolutely. We're on Thirsty Thursday here now. And absolutely, after this is like the come down week after WrestleMania. That was probably a possible moment. But now that we're kind of back to regularly scheduled programming and everything, it's nice to we're already into Thursday here.
Yeah, absolutely. The craziness of WrestleMania is finally over. So that's a good thing. We'll return next year.
Just starting.
Say that again.
I said now you just got the new craziness starting with everything on Raw and everything we're going to see on SmackDown tomorrow night.
Yeah, we got a lot happening this week in the wrestling world.
Right. Safet, what up? MDB, it looks like you guys are glowing. Yes, I'm feeling it's gotten warm out here. I mean, especially you're up there in the south, my guy. So
oh yeah, it's definitely gotten hot down here. I think we've touched 80 a couple of times. So yeah.
Ooh, I'm lucky if we get above like 60s.
I would die for that.
Bash, what up? Gregory, what up? As we got about 3 minutes before the show kicks off. Scott, president of the Naomi fan club, Anthony and Mr. Wendy Chu. No, don't you do that. Don't you do that to me.
I like that. President of the or Mr. Wendy Chu. I like that. That's funny.
No. Well, yeah, you are definitely Naomi fan club. You brought me over to that side. I'm, the vice pres, I guess now. MDB shooting at you. I'm glad Anthony believes in himself because I doubt him all the time.
Shut up, MDB.
Gregory, where were you at, Nick, last night? I thought you were about it. Well, KJ was about it, and I was snooping, snoring. I'm trying to say sleeping. Yeah.
I watched a little bit of Dynamite. I didn't see all of it, but from what I saw, the Ricochet match was fun, and the tag team match, I can't believe I'm saying a tag team match with the Young Bucks was great, but I enjoyed that match too.
Well, fair enough. I kind of caught more of the clips, the highlights, the recaps. Yeah. But Alexis let me know that the NFL draft is on tonight. I am keeping an eye on it. Granted, Buffalo doesn't pick till about 30, so me and Anthony won't have too much to look forward to till the late hours. We might be off air by then.
Ooh, that's a long time.
Right. Everyone's favorite taxi driver, Big Nick. Well, this man's got the same chapeau. This is the chapeau show out here right now.
Exactly.
So, do you think this of shout out Byron as we should be getting the show in a minute or here? So tomorrow we get Malachi Black, all but confirmed, I feel.
I thought it was confirmed. Was I missing something, or was that a fan-made date on some videos I seen floating?
No, that's been the date of that. We're gonna get somebody. It's just everyone has very much assumed that it's Malachi Black. There's been nothing besides some darkness, some smoke, some very spooky imagery that tells you.
I mean, if it's not Malachi Black, who could it be? Because I'm sold on it being Malachi Black tomorrow.
Would it be like the Wyatt Six returning? That would be the only other thing.
I mean, that could be the spooky.
Wendy Chu debuts 425, and I will visibly get sick on stream.
It definitely could be the Wyatt Six. That never crossed my mind. But I feel like everybody's. I know this goes to don't book the show for yourself, but I mean everybody's been wanting Malachi Black, and it needs to be Malachi Black tomorrow. It has to be.
This has surprisingly been the most subtle WWE video package they've done in a while, because we knew after video package 1, oh, that's Phoenix. Oh, we know that that's Penta. We've kind of always known that this was Malachi. Now, it could be some random offshoot, but we've already got Rusev, so it can't be the Redeemer or anything. But yeah, I think it's got to be Malachi.
Yeah, we already got Rusev this weekend. My app just crashed when the show tried to start, but I'll get back to it. But yeah, it definitely has. We already got Rusev, so it has to be Malachi Black at this point. Okay, we're good.
Fair enough. I still just have live events starting soon. So
Yep, that's what I got too now.
fair. So we should have TNA starting at any minute here now. You can watch it on TNA Plus. You can listen to us, or if you somehow find a way of Access TV, if you're the one of the 3 people that cable provider is in your package, you got it.
Right. And it's starting off
They're
with In
starting off
Memory.
with a memorial to Steve Mongo McMichael. T's and P's 100%. That sucked yesterday.
Spaz with a super chat. Since Anthony is here and he's bringing the TNA to TNA, I feel the need to point out that that's a title Jericho has never held yet, and we hope he doesn't, and we hope that doesn't happen.
You can stay over there. Would TNA ever bring in Jericho, or a better question, would Jericho ever go to TNA?
I think Jericho would never go to TNA, honestly.
Fair.
Yeah, I don't think that would happen.
I'd agree with that. Jason letting us know it'll be Omos. Where will be Omos? I miss Omos. I'd like to see Omos.
Yeah, where would Omos be? We need some
context. I don't know. Maybe he's benched. Maybe I should talk to KJ about how maybe he's been benched.
And start that whole argument over again?
Yes, round 4. Let's go. I didn't hear no bell, but Gannibal saying AW was Swerve's house. Absolutely. Well, now it's becoming more of, it seems very much they're setting up a team for like a blood and guts of it's Team AW versus Team Elite Death Rider. Blech.
Right. Yeah. It seems like they're setting up for blood and guts, like you said. Whenever that happens, I don't know if it happens between now and what is it, Double or Nothing, the next pay per view. They're setting up for something. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they'd have it on Double or Nothing, or is it double? Is it Blood and Guts, or is it Anarchy in the Arena? These stadium stampede, these terms, they keep using them interchangeably.
Right, and they seem like, except with the exception of Blood and Guts, they seem like they're the same match. Like Stadium Stampede and Anarchy in the Arena, they all seem the same.
Right, but I'm getting a replay from Unbreakable last week here, so we're hyping up like EY versus Macklin, all that.
Yep, I got the same thing here with Macklin winning that title for the first time, which I called that, and I'm glad I did, because if we're not going to use him in the world title picture, I think this is perfect for him.
Oh yeah, Macklin's one of those, like, if he's not going to be your top guy, he's a great top mid-card guy.
Oh like yeah, absolutely.
Guy.
Yeah, absolutely. He's great in the mid-card division. I really think he can establish this championship as a legit championship. And I'm not upset that they let go of the digital media title. It needed to be let go.
Well, it kind of needed to after it got pulled out of GCW show and smashed with a chair from PCO. So PCO said you need to go. But Breaded shout out Mongo. Yeah, it's super interesting because I've got the NFL draft up, and then they pull up the, tribute for Mongo, and it's crazy of how much he had a huge NFL career. And I still remember learning about him in WCW when he was out there married to Deborah and part of the Four Horsemen and everything.
Right. As I think TNA is kicking off with this match here.
Yes.
Yeah, Trey Miguel teaming up with Ace Austin to take on Moose and JDC of the System. But absolutely, he's had an impact, everywhere. So sad to see him go.
Well, and especially dealing with ALS and everything too.
Yeah.
But Christopher, what up? I hope you guys are doing great. I hope y'all are doing great.
Absolutely.
Mike Rouse let us know. Get the knee pads. Bradley, hello, I'm late. Like the Mad Hatter.
Well, you made it just in time. TNA just started if you're watching, so you made it just in time.
Right. So, folks, let us know who you got for this match, whether you got Moose and JDC or you got Trey Miguel and Ace Austin. Who you got, sir?
I honestly don't know. Maybe Trey Miguel and Ace Austin. I think I'm gonna take them to win this, even though Moose kind of needs this heading into Rebellion defending his title, which I don't think he's going to retain. But yeah, I'm gonna still stick with Ace Austin and Trey Miguel.
Fair enough. I mean, I could almost see where Moose retains that Rebellion. I mean, he's the biggest guy of the match. Clearly, it might be a little interesting to see him have to crawl across the Ultimate X.
That's the thing I'm worried about, him crawling across that Ultimate X, because he is afraid of heights. And seeing his ladder match with Jeff Hardy and how he was a little timid getting up there on the ladder to grab the title makes me a little bit shaky for him retaining that title at Rebellion.
But does he send a message to us all and everything that you can overcome your fears, you can achieve the highest of heights and everything, and overcome your obstacles and all of that, and he overcomes his fear of heights.
No, absolutely, he should that's a whole lesson right there. Overcome your fears. That's him retaining the X Division title on Sunday.
Exactly, 100%. I just made Moose a babyface in 2 sentences. Bash 8, what up? Marvin, what up?
What's up, Marvin?
Play. Hey, I'm from Ireland. See, we even tried to get early into this, and they keep coming.
Right.
Bradley, thank you for becoming a member. And yes, we do also have the memberships. 100%. Always got the member streams up and all that. First milestone as a mod, a shout out, Bradley, who is 15 minutes late. Don't worry. We got enough of y'all's. Somebody else got your shift covered, my guy.
Yep.
How much TNA on the NXT AAA show?
I don't know. If we see anyone from TNA on that show, it could be the Aztec Warriors. Is that the tag team?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, it could be the Aztec Warriors. I don't see really anybody else from TNA being on that show, but Aztec Warriors would be the top ones to show up.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Got that one. Oh, Shadow Play. TNA has been cooking. I'm still bummed they released Gail Kim, though.
Yeah, I think we're all a little bit upset that Gail Kim is gone, but it hasn't dropped the quality of the show at all. So you're right. TNA has been still cooking.
Fair enough. But we are underway as I've got JDC and Trey Miguel in the ring. Wrist locks if y'all want to sync up with us. But yeah. Spaz Fed going to change AAA to NXT. No. Well, I'm going to click on a name or two here, try and get closer to the bottom, and we can talk about there might be a TNA connection to the now AAA and WWE. We might be crossing that bridge a little bit, closer than we think. Kyle said, Nick, I hope Aleister Black gets his old team. Absolutely. But did you hear that Jeremy Borash is allegedly going to be very much heavily involved with the AAA kind of WWE kind of crossover of like how they're going to meld them into the fold? Good old JB is going to be involved.
Yeah, I did hear that, and Jeremy actually has been doing phenomenal things on commentary for LFG, WWE LFG. I've loved hearing his voice every week. Yeah, that would be fun if they do that, and he's like the middleman, the one that's setting everything up. I think that'd be great. I don't know much about AAA, so I don't want to go into it with any, preconceived notions or mindsets, but it would be cool if they didn't change AAA into like an NXT, like change the branding to NXT and they keep it, AAA, but I don't see that happening, but it would be very, very cool.
I think that they'll just have their bit more of their production style to it now, as we got a double drop toe hold on Moose into JDC's Huevos. Getting Hispanic in here, but double arm drag over. AAA, well, they've already got the big thing with AAA and WWE working is Alberto Del Rio is currently their world champion. So neither party wants to be involved. There was rumors floating around that he was released, and I don't know if that's been debunked and that he's been suspended or what have you, or this, that, and the third. That's the real interesting thing with that. And I still want them to keep them more as almost like a territory. Still keep them feeling slightly individual, unique to themselves, but up maybe their production or have WWE influence. So if they were to ever pop over, crossover, then they're ready a bit more to go into, say, they can go from AAA to an NXT and not miss a beat too much.
I first of all, I didn't know that Alberto Del Rio was their champion. I didn't even know he
Yeah.
was still wrestling. So that's news to me. But
Mhm.
yeah, I like that idea of them, and that's definitely something WWE is going to do is step up whatever production they have going down there. That's I know that's gonna happen. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, I'm with you. Like keep it this is gonna sound weird, but keep it separate but together.
Well, fair enough. I thought you were about to say separate but equal, but yeah, I get you. I get you. But I'm in commercial break with TNA.
Mhm.
We'll be right back after Moose is hucking people outside the ring. Ghoul, what up? What up? Shout out Mrs. Box. Shout out to British Nick, Mr. Box. Oh, that everybody's second favorite box. Go shout out her. Go shout out Ghoul, by the way, on Twitch. Go check out Geekbox out there on YouTube. So we can see
Absolutely.
Anthony's whole face and see him rant for another hour and a half about TNA and all that.
If you want to see a good 20-minute uh rant in a good way for TNA, yeah, go check out the latest interview on Geekbox's channel.
Yeah, Anthem Sports Christ, Gail Kim, Scott Demore. If you're listening, go and check that out. This man's absolutely the TNA cheerleader extraordinaire. Put this man on
Absolutely.
your PR team.
Absolutely. Get me paid by TNA. I would love that.
There we go. We'll have you literally be the resident TNA insider, literally and figuratively.
Right.
And we'll see. Even Ghoul's giving you a endorsement there, saying it was a good rant. It was a
Well,
good rant.
thank you. Thank you.
Listen, we're known for fighting, ranting, and saying hi to the chat around here. And sometimes we do all three at the same time. So absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, Whoever threw the chair at Alberto, he could be a future pitcher for the Yankees. I see what you might have done there, but yeah, too. I don't know exactly the clip you're referring to, but I know I saw one a while ago of where Del Rio was actually going out of the crowd. Like you said it. I'm surprised Alberto Del Rio is still wrestling. He's still employed.
Yeah, I didn't I had no clue that he was still wrestling actively. I thought he was done. I know he had a stint in TNA for a little bit. I think he may have been Impact World Champion, or when they
Oh, yeah.
was doing the Global Force thing, I think he might have been Global Force Champion. I don't know, but I know he was champion for a small bit of time in TNA.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Byron out here. I think we get Fraxium, Malachi Black, and Omos along with a turn tomorrow. Interesting. Now, I'd have to remind myself of the card for tomorrow because yes, I will find the slide. There we go. I went too far. Yes, we will 100% be here back at it like a jackrabbit tomorrow for Friday Night SmackDown, where we've got a TLC match, my guy. A TLC match on a weekly show.
A TLC match that should have been on the WrestleMania card,
Uh,
replacing that Monday Night Raw tag team match.
uh,
But yes, we do have the TLC match, which I actually forgot about, so I'm excited about that. To Brian's comment about Fraxium, Fraxium will work well on SmackDown, but we need some tag teams on Raw. I would hate to put Fraxium on Raw because of how bad it is, but Fraxium could actually do some good and maybe heat it up over there on Raw.
yeah, but I don't know. I mean, Fraxium, they're in there with DIY, they're in there with Motor City, they're in there with the Street Profits. That's a high
It's
flying
hard.
division. That's an exciting division, my guy.
No, that is an exciting division. It's just I feel like the flounder for the Raw division is just terrible. But no, I agree. It would be excellent for them to be on SmackDown.
Right. Well, and especially now that they've dropped as we're back in action, but especially now that they've dropped the tag belts and everything at Stand and Deliver, that 100%, I expect that they're going to end up on the main roster sooner rather than later.
Yeah, absolutely. We're hoping for the same for Roxanne because it seems like she want to keep her nose down there in NXT, or they want to keep her nose down there on NXT.
We can talk about that on the next commercial break here because we actually do got to talk about the in-ring action.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're back with TNA with Moose in control of Trey Miguel at the moment, which, like I said, this match has a little bit of implications to the X Division title match at Rebellion, which Vikingo's there, Casey Navarro's there, Leon, Matt Cardona, and is it Stony Rakim? Is that how you pronounce his name? New name now?
Oh, you're gonna really question me on that right now. Hold on, I have this rebellion card pulled up. I got you. I got you. I got you. Sydney Akeem. Yeah, Sydney Akeem.
Sydney. I said Stony because it looked like a T
Fair
to me.
enough. It's a small text. It's small text.
Right.
And surprisingly, you're not the one on stream that's Stony. I'll say that. So yeah, there you go. It's bound to happen, my guy. It's just cross pollination. But yeah, and he's been doing stuff out there with GCW, with House of Glory. 100%. I'm excited with that. That's a good mishmash of talent of Vikingo, AAA. Sorry, Tony, you can't use Vikingo anymore.
And it's crazy that Vikingo, that's what really shocked me. And I know we got to focus on TNA, but that's what really shocked me about the announcement WrestleMania Saturday. Because when me and KJ were doing the trivia, I looked over and I was like, KJ, is that Vikingo on WWE TV? Knowing he was going to be at Rebellion the following Sunday. That was just wild to me.
Right? Paul, what up? Axiom. Fraxium should be on Raw, so he agrees with you. I was just watching Geekbox's Twitch stream an hour ago from 2 days ago. Well, there you go, Bradley. Showing love. Bradley's out there just showing love to the whole community.
Absolutely. We got Ace Austin in the ring just taking out everybody at the moment. I guess Trey got the hot tag while we were talking there.
Yeah, but Ghoul saying you guys are smashing it. Always a video, always a clip, always a tweet. LFG, absolutely.
We always
never stops.
Absolutely, it never stops.
Up something season never sleeps. I love the colored straps on the TNA belts, makes it pop.
Is that when it comes to that TNA belt, it's so controversial with the strap. People don't like the light blue strap, but I love it. I think it's awesome.
It's very, very territory. It's very old school.
Right.
It's if you're a wrestling historian, what have you, I guess, or if you really like the vintage style, it really kind of resonates. It's like the more aggressive version of like the white strap. Like when they switched the IC belt to the white strap, I thought it looked beautiful. I don't know if I feel about the powder blue and everything. That might be a little too. I don't know if I take you serious, but yeah.
Yeah, I have heard people say it looks like a woman's title or a knockouts title. You could have put a darker blue strap on it, like the old Universal title. But I do like the powder blue strap. It's nice, the sky blue strap. But I get what you're saying. Absolutely.
And we'll see. I didn't even go that way with it. To me, it just looks a bit more like an Easter egg. That type of vibe. Seeing how we're just coming off of that. Yeah, right. It looks more like a Cadbury egg type shit. But Ghoul, what up? Is I got JDC pinning Trey. Yeah. 1, 2, breaks it up.
I thought he was about to get that pin there. This match is really fast paced and almost everywhere at the same time. Moose.
Just as we don't go ahead.
I was about to say Moose, I think, setting up for a power bomb, but Ace Austin is fighting out here.
Right. Oh, Hurricane Run-ish. Well, they're both on the apron. So that's the thing is Moose's big ass. If he goes over the ropes, like he just lands on his feet automatically, type of shit. So yeah,
exactly. It doesn't.
He can just jump flow. That's why I don't know how much he's gonna have to climb the Ultimate X. You could just jump to the middle and grab it and fall.
That is true. He might not even have to climb on those lines or crawl on those lines.
Right.
Oh, there goes Alicia getting involved.
Oh yeah, my favorite women's wrestler out there. Well, she's not even a goddamn wrestler, but since we've been halfway all over the place, I will mention I am watching the NFL draft and Jacksonville Jaguars. TK Chad Khan out there trading up into the number 2 pick. AW is on. See, MDB, you read my mind, my guy. We're simpatico out here. AW is on the clock in the NFL draft.
So we got JDC and Moose winning, with actually JDC pinning Trey Miguel because I believe it was Brian Myers that came out and Eddie Edwards that caused a distraction there. Really good first match to kick off the show.
Yeah, no, I can't remember who picked who.
I picked Moose and JDC, which begs the question: who goes over on the Go Home show loses the title at Rebellion?
I think that might have been the logic of I was going with before. I don't know if I ever made a full pick. I was out there just being the motivational speaker for Moose, but yeah, shit, it's the law of wrestling. Of if you go over on a go home, you lose at a pay-per-view. We saw it at WrestleMania.
That's true. That's true. So since this is all new now, since Vikingo is in the match and he wins, wouldn't he be the first WWE superstar to win a TNA title?
Is he technically a WWE superstar?
That's the question. Is he technically WWE?
That might be just kind of a little cue to Tony Khan. a little bit. Well, and he's just back off of injury too, I feel.
As we got a promo package with Tessa and Masha, and I think Masha had put Tessa on her kill wall, but I wasn't sure. I saw a bunch of X's up there. So
fair enough. But yes, we're hyping up Masha and Tessa. That was just a natural instinct. That wasn't even because I pronounced her name wrong. It's just instinctual when you say her name. Marvin, what up? Yes, MDB, simpatico, my guy, 100%. So interesting to hear someone say Cadbury the way you do. Did I say it wrong or something? Like, I know UK versus US, we have that good old American accent and everything. Same thing of like with KJ, with him being Canadian. So yeah.
Yes, it's as much as we all might speak the same language, it definitely hears different because when I watch The Crown on Netflix, I have to have the subtitles on because I can't understand anything they're saying. I'm not even lying. So
English is the most confusing language. And again, same thing too with us, with mathematics, of how we're different than every other mathematics system out there. We just got to be different and kind of add extra confusion to shit.
Exactly. And I think I can't think of his name, but Tommy Dreamer. I think Tommy Dreamer just told Masha that we don't need Tessa. I'm gonna have to watch that promo over again after stream, but that's what it seemed like he said.
Right. Yeah. Hey, you know what TNA is really hyping up right now is how much they got buried on WrestleMania, and how much they got buried when Joe Hendry showed up on NXT and was out there confronting Trick Williams and all of that.
Yeah, they got super buried on Sunday.
And that's what you do when you get buried, is you really announce it to everybody and really highlight it.
Exactly.
Fucking idiots.
The wrestling community is wild sometimes.
They're undefeated in just insanity, I feel. Of just when you expect them to politely go right, they all just for some reason go left.
Oh my God. It's just been wild on Twitter all week. Whatever the case may be, someone's upset about something. And it's just like, put the keyboard down, put the mouse down, go clock in and work, or go outside and play or something. I don't know.
I will say I'm glad that everyone here that tunes into us, and if not, go and recruit a friend, just go spread the good gospel and everything, help the channel grow, because there's a lot of those people don't have jobs.
They don't have something.
They don't have friends, so that's why you need to bring them over here. You need to convert them. Bring them away from the IWC to the WFU.
Bring them somewhere. I don't know, because like
they need help.
They need some help.
Yeah, well, I think we were going to briefly, you mentioned it before about Roxanne Perez's Travis Hunter officially goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's AW bound, so I can't wait till Dynamite next week when Travis Hunter shows up, and KJ probably doesn't know who he is.
I sure don't. So, but yeah, we were going to talk about Roxanne, which it was great seeing Julia, Stephanie, Roxanne, and Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Don't want to forget the champion. We can't leave her out. All in the same ring at the same time on Monday. One inkling that it gave me is that they may be potentially setting up, storylines for Evolution 2 if it's happening if it's announced. But even if it's not for Evolution 2, just seeing them on Raw and them potentially being called up or being used on the main roster a little bit more, I'm excited for it.
Well, I asked this to KG on Tuesday, and chat, you can let me know as well. I'm sure you will. But do you think that with Julia being paired with Roxanne, because we all have very much for the longest time anticipated she's moving on up. She needs to have been moved on up. We thought that was going to be her versus Bayley at WrestleMania. That now that she's kind of paired off with Julia, that those two might go up to the main roster together, or at least at the same time. That's why Julia dropped the NXT title as fast as she did, what have you, whether it be through visa circumstance, what have you, but that they've got enough faith in Julia that they're going to hop skip her up too as they move Roxanne up, because they need to move Roxanne up. They need to move that woman up. There's nothing left for her in NXT.
Yeah, there's nothing left for Roxanne to do. And if it's going to be Roxanne and Julia on the main roster as a tag team or not, I think it's perfect. If it's going to be a tag team, it could help out with the tag team division. And it seems like Julia has somewhat turned heel, so it would be interesting what they do with both of them together. But like you said, it's time for Roxanne to be up there with the main women, because there's nothing else that she can do. It's literally nothing.
Yeah, she just took the L to Stephanie and all of that.
Right.
But yeah, I've got the replay of the weekend that Joe Hendry, or the week that Joe Hendry's had, and then hype it up into Rebellion. Is this like one of the best kind of TNA stories that they've done that actually feels like it's a true, like, it reminds me so much, and I guess pun intended, or it fits the story apropos, but like Jeff Hardy and CM Punk and all of that, of like remind him of how much he's an alcoholic and all that. Or no, that was Jericho. Sorry. But anyways, of seeing Mike Santana out here in the AA meetings and Ali constantly just leaving that little tease to you and everything of just, I'll set the little cup right beside you after I kick your ass.
Right. This is easily the best feud right now in TNA. Easily the best feud. And like you said, it's reminiscent of those old storylines with Jeff Hardy, and Mustafa Ali in this storyline has just been a menace the entire time, like a straight menace. I agree, man. This is really cooking with TNA. This is, sadly, at this point, as much as I'm a champion for TNA, you got to talk about some of the downers of TNA. This is really only the true storyline that they kind of have after Sammy and Mance Warner ended. But it's really carrying, and people are talking about it on Twitter. So
yeah, well, that's the thing is, again, and anyone in the chat that wants to throw out some names that they might think fit into this, but I feel like Santana and Ali are like guys they need to hold on to, because like Mustafa Ali, his TNA run is best Mustafa and everything. But yeah, Mike Santana, I almost wish he would be in WWE because of how talented he is, but he's 100% had a whole revival and a full resurgence in his career being in TNA as the guy.
Yeah. When it comes to Mustafa Ali, like you said, this is the best Mustafa Ali we have seen, and it's been in TNA. Don't know how long he signed the contract for, but we do know he signed the contract. When it comes to Mike Santana, I think he's here to stay. After reading his IG post today, basically a long IG post where he said he knew TNA was where he needed to be, and this is where he's going to stay. Again, don't know how long his contract is, but he's someone that can really do well in WWE if booked right. But it's hard to take somebody away when they're thriving, somewhere else. And I get your point. I really do get your point.
Yeah, they need to, if TNA wants to stay and continue to climb and all of that, these are guys you need to invest in, because these are younger guys. These are guys that you can make absolute stars out of. Like, this could be your world title feud, honestly.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. This could be something that they build towards with Bound for Glory. Excuse me, depending on how long Joe Hendry holds the title. So there's a lot that they can do here.
Right. I saw somebody. Oh, A. Jobson. They showed TK. Did he have the neck brace?
I do for a quick second want to click on MDB's comment.
Go ahead.
Saying, Anthony, you see how the IWC is trying to give Charlotte all types of sympathy now after weeks of bullying her. Yeah, absolutely. And it's annoyed me. And I didn't think in 2025 I would be on social media defending Charlotte like I have the past week, but it just bothers me when Becky Lynch comes back and wins the title and everybody's okay with it. Now, I'm not knocking Becky Lynch. I'm not. But when Charlotte does it, it's a problem. And then now you're really putting depending on how the feud goes, but you're putting her in the mid-card scene with Lyra and potentially could take the title away from Lyra. We got to call a spade where it's at. You know, I mean, and then they said, I had someone asked me a question. Well, Becky's only did it one time, and that was this week. And it was like, no, she hasn't. She returned and pinned Bianca Belair in 18 seconds and won the SmackDown Women's Championship. But everybody forgets that. But you gotta call a spade. That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah, but I also I hear the comparable. I guess I don't fully see the comparable of Becky to Charlotte first and foremost with that. And that just could be my opinion, my bias towards it, what have you. And I think very much Becky, especially with her husband's recent actions, I would expect is very much going to lean very heel versus Charlotte lately has been that wishy-washy. Am I supposed to be a face? Am I supposed to be heel? My whole big takeaway at this point with everything, with the leaked audio from the roast, which was never supposed to air, I almost feared that it was going to get to that point to where it was never going to air. It was almost, I fear they were going to have some of this because you got a lot of really, you've got a different atmosphere. You've got people that are meant to tear each other apart with a lot of sensitive wrestlers. But my personal opinion, not the channel's opinion, not Anthony's opinion, not KJ's opinion, my personal opinion, Charlotte Flair should have not came back when she did if she was not mentally ready to be involved in being in the public spotlight. I understand however you feel about what Nia Jax said. I honestly, what I read, didn't think it was too terrible or anything. I just think with this whole back and forth with Charlotte, at this point, you should have just stayed away. Come back when you are in a much better mental place and everything versus this kid glove shit and everything of if you're going to come in and want to be the top star, you got to take the heat with it a little bit. That might be insensitive, but to me, it's one of those of no one was clamoring for Charlotte to come back as it was. So there was no problem if you would have taken more time off to get yourself in a better spot.
No, that's a valid point of her not returning right away. That's definitely valid, and I can see where you're coming from. I think for me, and this is not about Charlotte, this is not about Nia Jax. I think people don't understand the point of what a roast is.
That too.
In 2025, a roast is a roast. If you don't like it, don't watch. And that's why it was never going to be aired. That is why phones were apparently I don't want to use the word confiscated, but you had to put them away. Like the arena or wherever they were took the phones away. I don't know how things got recorded, but like a roast is a roast. And I'm not trying to sound insensitive, but that's literally what it is. That they're going to talk about other superstars. And in the period of the roast, it doesn't mean that they actually mean what they're saying. They're just trying to make people laugh. And that's the point of a roast. That's kind of how I feel.
I feel like a lot of people that went on social media and were mad and bothered by everything that was said at the roast or what they heard or what they allegedly heard or this, that, the third, we're already watching that pre-med. Hashtag pre-med. I'm surprised we don't have a shirt at this point with it, but you can't wear that at a pregnancy test. But yeah, hashtag pre-med. That they already went into that knowing that they were going to be upset at what they heard. Because they already, like you said, didn't understand the concept of a roast. Yes, you can feel your way about what Tony Hinchcliffe said about Big E's neck and everything, but it was meant to be for them to kind of just blow off some goddamn steam. Like Paul Heyman, I guess, tore the house down. No one's quoting anything from Paul Heyman or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah. It was a lot of that came out just to like already make people who are already mad more mad.
More mad, absolutely. And honestly, I haven't heard any of it, and I don't plan to hear any of it, not because
We're not
of what I
supposed
think.
to. We're not supposed to.
That's exactly what I was supposed to say. We're not supposed to. It was never supposed to be out there. So I'm not going to spend my time listening to something that was never supposed to be out there. So
MDB, I cannot confirm or deny this comment, but he said it. As someone who broke their neck, that neck joke was funny because it's true.
As we're back with TNA, they got a video package of their champion Joe Hendry, who was just buried at WrestleMania. Like we discussed,
I know. I'm so glad that he's back from the dead. It's just like how they brought back Elias, Ezekiel, Elijah. They're all resurrected out here. They're song singing and guitar picking.
Right. As we got Heather by Elegance on the screen, I think she's about to video chat Ash by Elegance and tell them they have to defend the titles. It's coming.
Who is that tall woman behind them?
Oh man, I can't think of her name. She's just recently signed. Chat, help us out. I think it starts with the M. I want to say Megan, but I don't think it is.
Fair enough, but I don't know if he's my most favorite or my least favorite manager right there. King George behind them with the neck braciest of neck braces out there.
He's been wearing that neck brace for like a month and a half at this point.
Well, he does TNA do old school, like what NWA tries to be, wants to be better than NWA. Now, granted, NWA goes back into the real old schools of Kevin Mitchell and but with bringing back of like the heel manager, that's just like the shtickiest shtick of shticks, and the vintage strap belts and everything. Is TNA incorporating a bit more of that NWA territory-ish style, the old school wrestling vibe that is not exactly current in wrestling?
It seems like they are with some aspects that they have been doing lately. Absolutely. And I think George Iceman is a perfect fit in that, in that mode. And just with the new title, like you pointed out that the new title is territorial in a way too. So yeah, I definitely can see that actually being the case here.
Right. Gregory, Megan Anthony, Ariana Grace, big disgrace.
Oh, yeah.
All up over your face on TNA on the commentary team.
So we're probably up next. We're getting that JC Jane versus Rosemary match. So this should be good.
Do you want, now that we've gotten Rusev back and we've had his lawyer even have a match at WrestleMania, we saw Lana's been out there floating around taking selfies. Should we actually get an official Rusev Day?
It would be cool to see Matthew Raywall come out on WWE TV and at least do it once, right? You don't have to do it all the time, but do it at least once to give us that old, nostalgia,
Rusev versus Joe Hendry, TNA World Title, and we get, what day is today? It is Rusev Day.
Yeah, absolutely. So her name is Maggie Lee. Thank you.
Maggie Lee, not Maggie Anthony. Greg, you lied. Yes, Joe Black, shout out to Giants taking Abdul Carter. Yes, we got JC Jane versus Rosemary. So let us know, folks. I see 61 people watching with us. Let's see if we can bump that up. Let's see if we can pump up the jam and get to 70, 80. Let's see if we hit triple digits here tonight on a Thursday.
Absolutely.
Everybody's out there saying TNA is great. So if you want to hit to stay great, keep watching.
Right. As we got Rosemary coming out now.
Ooh, William, got a question for you.
Sup, Nick and Anthony, you think Deanna is on her way out? Well, I believe Deanna Purrazzo actually liked a fellow chatter's tweet, MDB, about, not being used or underutilized. I don't know if Deanna Purrazzo is on her way out the door. But I was very fearful from the moment she signed with AEW that they were not going to use her properly. And I was completely right. She had her feud with Tony Storm. She had it just wasn't on Dynamite, it was on Collision. She had a really good feud with I'm picturing her now, but can't think of her name. Thunder Rosa.
Yeah.
She had a really fun feud with Thunder Rosa, but I wish they would use Deanna a little bit more. MDB says Deanna is in the tournament for Ring of Honor for the Pure Championship, the women's Pure Championship. But yeah, we'll see what they do. We'll see what they do with Deanna.
Yeah, but they also sat there and paired Deanna with, fellow TNA, former TNA signing with Taya Valkyrie, that they were just kind of playing keep away. I was going to say, how can they let her in the door or let her, open the door and all of that shit if she hasn't even been booked at all? Like, she's out there not doing a damn thing.
I mean, absolutely. And then at the last pay-per-view, was it Revolution? She was streaming on Twitch for the show. And I'm like, no, you need to be on the card. I don't know. I really don't. I just dislike her placement right now in AEW. Not saying she should have left TNA. Not saying she should have signed with WWE.
I'll say it. I'll be your anger translator. 100%. She should have, not left TNA. Absolutely. Now you see how this turned. I'll be out here. I'll be Luther. 100%. I am Anthony's anger translator. Deanna and Taya, what the hell were you thinking out there? Signing with Tony Khan, just trying to play keep away from WWE when you were out there, top of the charts, top of the pops, all that in TNA.
Yeah, absolutely. And Taya Valkyrie is one that's really good as well. She did some great work in TNA. Her downfall was very, very quickly in AEW. After she lost that feud with Jade Cargill, it was like that was it.
You're right.
And so, yeah, I fear for both of them.
Well, again, you got to let them in before they can close the door on you. So that's the thing. You got to let them into the house before they can leave the house. That's almost the vibe I get with this. If they haven't done anything with them to start, so why not just cut bait? You're not using them.
Yeah, not being used at all. Absolutely. As we got Rosemary over here with the upper hand on JC Jane.
The big fall away suplex there. But yeah, you're probably paying them a good penny to sit there and do nothing.
Right. I'm not gonna say what's on my mind. Yes, I am. She's probably getting paid a lot more doing those commercials for the university that she attended.
Is it like Southern New Hampshire?
Yes, Southern New Hampshire.
I live in New Hampshire, and I've seen Deanna more on my screen on YouTube ads than I have on AW, Ring of Honor, Collision, any sort of wrestling television.
Exactly. I've seen Deanna on multiple Southern New Hampshire commercials. I've seen her on my Facebook timeline with the whole commercial, and people are asking, is that Deanna Purrazzo? Yes, you actually see her, on television, on commercials.
Right. Well, what did Floyd say? Oh, breaking news. OnlyFans is Jesus. That broke me.
OnlyFans has signed MDB.
5-year contract. Fallon, MDB's taking Fallon, who isn't even in this match. But let us know, folks, whether you're taking JC Jane or Rosemary.
Yeah, as they're advertising the whole knockouts title match, and they took the graphic away, but we got Ash and Heather by Elegance defending against Lash Legends and Jakar Jackson, Spitfire and Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley this coming Sunday, which I don't feel like the Elegances are retaining, but we'll see.
Yeah. You got Metaphor, you got Spitfire, Danny Luna, Jody Threat, Chemical X there. Yeah, absolutely. Who do you got there?
As much as I would like for Ash and Heather to retain, I feel like they're going to pull the trigger and have Lash Legends and Jakar Jackson win the titles.
I actually can't really be mad at that at all. I was halfway trying to think of a different outcome, but give the titles to Metaphor. Now I got to just watch every Thursday instead of Tuesday to see them on my screen. But yeah, I already thought kind of pibbity. Oh, that they should have already been on the main roster, been one of those call-ups, because now we're in call-up season.
Yeah,
they slide into
absolutely.
that mid-card, they slide into that women's tag title on the main roster division. They've already teased it. They've already been there.
Yeah, wasn't it for a couple of months there? I want to say at least 2. They were kind of consistently on SmackDown for a bit, and it was like all of that faded
They were
away.
going
But
at Bianca and Jade.
yeah, absolutely. They are ready for some main roster action, honestly.
Right. Hassan's taking JC Jane as Spaz out here with all the super chats again. We got all the super chats, we got the memberships, we got the merch store, we got this, we got the Twitters. We might even have again a few other tricks up our sleeves. Absolutely up to something. Season never sleeps out here. But Spaz with $5.
JC Jane pins Rosemary.
God damn it. And we didn't even give our picks in this match.
I wasn't expecting that.
Well, JC's really talented. Like I really like Fallon. JC's good. She probably runs NXT for a bit. I feel. But I'm surprised. Like Rosemary's like the vet, like OG, triple OG, and everything. And we're going into this whole again though triple threat match. He or she who goes over on the go home show loses on the pay-per-view.
That's true. So, and they're part of the match. So, yeah, are they? No, they're actually not. I thought Fatal Influence was a part of the match, but they're not.
No, we've got Fatal Influence of Fallon Henley, JC Jane, and Jasmine Inks taking on Rosemary, Xia Brookside, and Lei Ying Li.
Oh, is that a part of the show? Did I miss that?
That is on. That is match number 3 for Rebellion in 2025, according to Wikipedia.
Oh, maybe it's hadn't been announced yet because on the
official it might be announced. We might be getting early spoilers.
Exactly, because it's definitely not on the TNA website. But that's probably because
it might be a little behind. We got the inside scoops, even if we don't have scoops.
But that would make sense because they just ran out. So I'm pretty sure. Well, there comes Santino, so he's about to make it official.
John Cena, you will defend your title. I saw a meme that was literally correcting anyone that was saying John Cena, especially after one of them just said Santino yelling, "It's John Cena! John Cena!"
Exactly. I can't get over Santino calling Steve Macklin Steve McLean. So
yes, you're going to die hard out here. Yeah, I turned into Arnold with that. God damn it!
Right.
Yeah.
So now it's made official. So you heard it actually here first on the channel. So yeah.
See, I got that Italian pipeline. I'm tapped in right there with Santino. That's how I know 100% what he's about to say and everything. I got you. That cross-Canadian Italian pipeline. We got you.
Absolutely. And as we were talking about Rosemary earlier, I went to go see how old Rosemary was because, like, I know she's up there.
She never exposed a woman's age.
I'm like, is she knocking on the end of her career? But she is 41. And then I just realized she shares the same birthday as me. So now I like Rosemary a little bit more.
Fair enough. Just on a side note, we're getting the compound, by the way, because we got Willow, the pillow, and it's not AW.
Yes, this is Willow.
Oh, God. I never liked Willow.
You know, that's one thing I have to go back and kind of watch, which his laugh is kind of funny, but I got to go back and kind of watch that.
Bad. It's one of those, honestly, anyone can correct me. Anyone want to explain to me how I'm wrong? Y'all explain to me how I'm wrong with Wendy 2 and this, that, and the third. Am I wrong on Willow? And not Willow, the pillow, AW, all that, because she's fantastic. But Willow, Jeff Hardy, it's one of those, it's like the Room of wrestling. Oh, it's so bad, it somehow reverts to being good.
I guess so. I will have to really go back and watch. I wonder if they have a playlist out there on YouTube I can watch. If not, I'll just find them on the app here.
Well, we got the Nemeth Bros at the Hardy compound, which might be the most...
Which is up next.
That might be the most off-scene wrestled place of all time.
Right. I'm excited for this segment. I'm excited for this. This is gonna be
All
fun.
right. Yeah, MDB's happy they took Ashton Genty. Yes, Ashton Genty's a Raider. For anyone watching the NFL draft, Tony Khan and co. moved up and picked Travis Hunter. We've got TNA out here. We're going to the Hardy compound.
Right.
Infamous for their matches with the Wyatt or with the Wyatt family, with the New Day. No, the New Day was at the Wyatt compound. But yeah, you mentioned before they were out there with the system. The Hardy compound's been used quite a bit.
Yeah, the Hardy compound has been used quite a bit, especially with the system. For some reason, I feel like that one got a lot of hate from the non-TNA fans because they didn't know what they were really witnessing. But I thought it was fun. I thought it was funny, and I thought it was entertaining. So that's why I kind of am excited for this one. I found out yesterday this was going down, and I sent a text to Nick, not the Nick sitting next to me, but the Nick that will be on the channel on Saturday for our Rebellion preview. But he didn't even know it was happening. I'm like, where did this come from? Like, where? All of a sudden this compound thing is happening, so I'm excited.
There you go, 100%. We're popping off streams out the blue and everything like that, and we're just regrowing Nicks out here. We've got British Nick, we've got TNA Nick, we've got Little Nick, we've got Big Nick, we've got all the Nicks out here.
We got UK Nick, we just got everybody.
Yeah, everybody just wants to be me, apparently. Everybody got to take my name. I'm just getting cloned out here. Was that Willow the Wisp? Yeah, well... Yeah, to me, well, with the Hardy compound thing and everything, you mentioned about how you kind of almost like expect it to just be fucking stupid and everything.
Yes,
like,
that's exactly
it's
right.
not supposed to be serious. Like, is it supposed to be one of those that you just shut your brain off? Because I always have a hard time with that kind of stuff. You can dance around that. Like the Boneyard match with AJ versus Taker was a wee bit shut your brain off, but still worked. If you can dabble, dip your toe into the cinematic shit, but the fucking drones and all of this and the lawnmowers might be a little too much.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where you kind of have to shut your brain off and not think too much about it. From a person here that has watched all 6 Sharknado movies, I can turn my brain off for anything.
Oh god.
So, that I do expect these to be stupid.
Did you get a gift certificate for accomplishing that? Were you on a punishment? Was that a contest? Like, what made you have to do that?
I thought they were just funny, and I just kept. It was one day I just kept watching them. I turned the first one on.
Did you watch them in a row?
I turned the second one on. I watched the third one. I thought they were all good. All 6.
So you marathon Sharknado.
Movie marathon of Sharknado.
Absolutely. Most people do, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, the Avengers movies. Anthony's out here, Sharknado.
Sharknado all the way, all 6 of them. I have, and I don't regret any of it.
There you go. Known lover of Wendy Chu, ringsider Anthony. Yes, I'm in commercial break-ish on TNA. If they're pitching their merch, we got merch. Buy our merch. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, MDB Sharknado, but I haven't seen Austin Powers.
No. If you thought Sharknado was good, you have to watch Austin Powers. Like, it's satire and everything, but it's actually good satire.
I guess I have to check it out. But yes,
just for Dr. Evil and everything. When a problem comes along, you must sip it. And how about no, you crazy Dutch bastard? I'd like to mow you. I don't want to make a guacamole. Like, it just has so many quotable lines, my guy.
All right, that'll be something I'll put on my list is to watch not Sharknado, but Austin Powers.
Subscribe, become a member of Super Chat, and we'll bully Anthony, and he's got to do a book report, recap of all the Austin Powers movies on the next members only stream. He's got to let us know what he liked, what he didn't like, all that.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but Willow was just dancing to that, not Travis Scott.
Fiend.
But that song that was sang at the Super Bowl by that rapper, that everybody's been doing the dance to. That's about Drake. They're not like us. That's the song.
Not like
Willow
us.
was just
They're
dancing
not
to
like
that.
us. They're not like us. As I got Jeff Hardy now popping up and attacking Nick. See, we're even talking about Nick's on the screen. Dolph, good old Dolph. He's eating a pine tree. That's it. It is very cinematic-y, and when you don't like when 2020, when you saw cinematic-y quite a bit, you kind of just got used to it, and you had good cinematics.
Exactly.
Hey, speaking of good cinematic, but then you had bad cinematics, which was the New Day and the Viking Raiders, which was also a terrible WrestleMania match.
That is true. That is true. And before someone gets angry in the chat because they, get angry in the chat. Hi, Boston. I'm acknowledging you.
Acknowledge me. Well, I saw him say hi to me, and I was like, uh-oh, I'm not getting in the middle of this. Don't you use me as a pawn in your game.
Okay, we getting a little bit of back and forth here, but Willow dancing to
a pickup truck. That's not back and forth.
Say it again.
I said we're fighting in the back of a pickup truck. I don't know if I exactly clarify that as back and forth. Where did Ryan go? Where's Matt?
Yeah, where's
Maxwell?
Yeah. Are they still fighting on the street? Because that's the last we saw them.
Why is no one watching them? Are they just, huffing
about to go through a table?
Oh, yes, because I know when I park my car, I always set 2 tables stacked on top of each other right beside it.
Exactly. And that table split in half, like not like the other tables do.
Yeah, well, it's a table, but it feels a bit more like the GCW type door kind of vibe and everything.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
That don't look like a real table. That looks like straight up out of somebody's like wood shop table. Like that's not just some cafeteria table. That's a table.
Right. And see, Denisha said she saw all of the Sharknadoes and liked them. I don't think I'll ever watch them again, but if you watch them all at once and get it out your life, it's kind of enjoyable.
But it's a hill no one asked you to climb. You're just like, I'm gonna climb that mountain. No one asked you to climb it.
Nobody asked me. I just woke up.
There's no award for watching Sharknadoes, but good on you. You're somehow better than me for coming out on the other side of it. So I will admit that. I struggle to watch a YouTube compilation of those movies. And that's only an hour. That's not even the runtime of one of them movies.
Exactly. The movies, I think, run almost 2 hours. Right. As we got Nick going into the house, and we got Ryan sneaking up behind the back of the house. And there goes Matt.
Yeah, so we cut to now Matt Jeff's been just taken out because of tables beside truck. Now we cut to Ryan or Nick in an arcade. We got 10 seconds of Ryan on our screen, and that's all we get.
Oh, is he trying to steal the TNA title? TNA tag title?
No, that's not valid. Oh, he's Mission Impossible in this. So if I gotta find, is it on a weighted scale and everything?
Right.
Jesus. Like this. All right. This is camp and wrestling. This is the line of how much is too camp and how much is just enough.
Exactly. I think while we were talking earlier, Nick Nemeth took the first title from Jeff because I think it was in a bag. So now he was getting the second one. Maybe they're trying to run away with them.
I'm sure that wasn't the only thing that Jeff had in that bag. Nick just knew what he could get through customs with. But Spaz with another $5 super chat. Shout out Spaz. Do you think TK walks among his? This is Spaz's opinion. Sheep ass fans chanting, "I heard sheeple, I heard sheep." No, I don't. That's a little over the top, my guy. I'll even say that. That's over the top.
As we got Matt spearing was it Ryan into the pool? But then now Ryan shows up in the arcade. See,
Yeah,
this is why you can't think of things. You just have to kind of watch it.
Yeah, but they just appear like everything's a portal to somewhere and all of it. Everything's a cross connection. Shout out Sons of Chemistry, a goddamn Breaking Bad shirt. Nacho Libre with Maxwell Hardy.
If anybody has seen this series of movies, there's 4 of them, I think, out there called Hell House. This is the dumbed down version of those movies. So, this is exactly what this is.
Very nice. We're getting Master the Great, and somehow Ryan Nemeth has been transported into the film. Like, this is. I always said House of 1,000 Corpses was an LSD dream. This feels like this might be that times 10 of like, this is a fucking fever dream, my guy. I don't know what to follow.
I don't even know how to provide commentary on this. I just have to watch and be like, okay, what is happening?
Trust me, the vitamins are not really throwing at anything this far off. We've not lost our minds for watching this much wrestling and everything. We're literally telling y'all, if you're not watching TNA, if you are watching TNA, you can corroborate our statements. But if you're not watching TNA, we're telling you what's literally on the screen. It makes as little sense to y'all as it does to us.
Exactly.
This is like those random fever dreams. This is brain rot. This is your brain on TNA.
Wait, was that the end of the? Wait a minute.
Don't question anything because you can end up with more questions.
Oh no! So now he shows back up at the bottom of the pool.
As he's getting so that was just his life flash before his eyes as he's getting just killed out. What the?
Exactly. While we got flashes of, was it Rebby Hardy, Matt Hardy's wife, playing the piano.
Yeah, she trying to prove that she has a talent outside of who she's married to. As now we've got another one of the Hardy kids playing therapist for Ryan Nemeth. This is making my brain hurt, and I'm just watching it. I'm not even involved in this. Yeah, Six Pass Ronan saying the Hardy compound, the twilight zone of wrestling, the land that time forgot, the land that logic forgot.
That's exactly why you can't go into these segments trying to think or trying to figure out what is happening. That's kind of why I love them, because they're all over the place.
Yeah, but it's almost one of those, respectfully, if you're not gonna, because we've seen where the Hardy compound's been done well.
Yeah,
this ain't it, dog. This ain't it. Like, that's the thing, is we've seen, we all watch wrestling, or most of us at least know of the cinematic era of 2020 of pro wrestling, and I've seen where they've done the cinematic stuff and where they've been really successful with it. This ain't it, dog. This ain't it.
This is definitely TNA's version of the Hardy compound, because this was the same thing that they did with the system. Well, not the same thing, but how light this was and not serious that this is. It's crazy, but I like Sharknado, as the chat now knows. So this is, kind of up my alley.
There you go. Well, you did do a series of bad wrestling and everything for a brief period on the channel and everything. This segment's starting to get long. Yeah. So Ryan Nemeth right now is arguing with Matt Hardy's daughter in his backyard, and this is professional wrestling, folks. You get the best of times and you get the blurst of times.
And then she turned him into a rock star with a match.
Is he just Sting? Why didn't he induct Luger into the Hall of Fame?
Is that Fall Out Boy singing this song? I don't even know.
Oh no, it's very much it's very much one of those bands. I'm sorry, I can't be perfect. Yeah, it's Christ. Someone's gonna let me know, but that's the song I believe that they're saying hashtag not copyright. If we get a copyright strike on either one of us, if we didn't get a copyright strike on this man out there being the voice of a generation during the WrestleMania stream singing songs, then we ain't ever gonna get one.
Right.
Yeah, so what the this is so fucking awkward and so bad. Like just why? Make any of this make sense?
Now that was funny. I think that's Matt Hardy's son said, do you want to hear a joke? And then he said, your career. That was pretty funny.
Oh. Mind you, ladies and gentlemen, this is the same guy that's suing AEW and I believe CM Punk as well over how his career was handled under AEW. Oh, don't show this in court. They might question your judgment there, sir. Dolita! Christ, we're baptizing one Nemeth as again.
And Nick Nemeth has both the titles now, so I was right. He did grab the title.
Yeah, and he's just been MIA for the past 10 minutes.
Right. Wait, now he's running with the belts. Matt's chasing him.
RM 100%. Did I take LSD before watching TNA? I whatever strain I've smoked on before this stream, a double next time, I guess, because this shit is. Wait, this is what's really happening. I don't know. Yeah, see, WrestlePro, what the fuck are we watching? Yeah, this is wild to say the least. What did I say that I didn't see? I don't know. But
I guess Jeff Hardy is just completely
out of the table. Ceased to be.
Oh, there he goes. Never mind. I spoke too soon.
Brother Nero, I knew you would come. We've had Willow, we've had Jeff Hardy, and now we've got Brother Nero. Should he just be Brother Nearsighted? Because them fucking eyeballs and shit is all fucked up with them.
So scary.
Not scary. Kind of funny. Like, you're just really high, Jeff. Calm down. He's like if the Undertaker was stuck on eye roll the whole time.
It looks like something.
Don't tell me we got a fucking commercial break. I went to darkness.
Yeah, I went to. Now we're going to.
Yo! There's no way. There's no way you go to commercial break and try and follow that up. You hard cut to Joe Hendry's hype up and everything for the main event. Is that the end of the compound?
I think that's the end of the compound. So that means does he show up on Sunday as
Brother Nero?
Brother Nero? Like, yeah, because Tessa Blanchard in action is up next. So that's definitely the end of this.
Boo! Boo! Worst segment, that or the main event. Which was a worse can show up? Willow or Travis Scott? That was just. I don't even know. Honestly, I almost don't know if I need to be mad at it. I don't know how to make heads or tails of that.
That's why I said at the start of this to go in without thinking, because if you think, you're going to hate it. That's how I watched all 6 Sharknado movies. I went in there and was like, I'm just gonna watch these, and I laughed, and then I watched all 6. So
I get you. No, I 100%. I guess I might have gone into it with the wrong mindset, but I mean, you really had to like tune out for that to make. I don't even know if you tuned out if that made any bit of sense. That was just a fever dream unto itself. I don't know what to make heads or tails coming out of that. Besides, maybe we get Brother Nero.
What it's like is if you ever had a child, like a baby 6 or 7 years old, try to tell you how their day is, and they keep stuttering. That's what that was.
Did you ever have a day that you think you thought you had that I think you thought, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's exactly what that was.
Right. Denise just said, Nick, I haven't seen Willow character in forever. I'm so glad to see it again. But you just saw it. He didn't do shit. You're just there. None of that made any sort of fucking sense. It just, they all just fucked off for minutes at the time and everything. I'm sorry. I know I was supposed to go into that brain dead, but my brain's just like I'm trying to make that logically make sense, and the build to a pay-per-view outside of that was just an experience. I'm so glad we all experienced that experience together. Let's never speak of this again.
No, I get it. I get it because it will make your brain hurt, especially if you try to analyze what it's supposed to be. And like this, and like the poster says, like it's not an actual match. It was just they showed up at the Hardy compound. But no, I totally get it. Everything you're feeling is valid. But when you suspend like the disbelief and just watch it, you're like, this is stupid and funny at the same time, and I'm entertained.
Fair enough. Well, I don't know if I'm going to go barge on the door of the Hardy compound or I'm going to go and find my disbelief back again and everything that I let go here. But I'll be right back, sir.
All right. As you are left with me as TNA is on commercial here. But yeah, like when it comes to the Hardy compound and stuff like that, if you watch like the previous one with the system, why is TNA at 10 next week? That annoyed me. I'm sorry. I stopped in the middle of the conversation, but when you watch those compounds, you have to kind of go in there like not thinking because you overanalyze things and then you just might lose like sight of what they're trying to do. But TNA is live next week at 10 p.m., which is wild. I don't know what they're doing at 8 next week, so gotta figure that out. But Denisha says we can watch the things we like together. As Denisha has said, she likes Sharknado. So Sharknado is a funny movie. If you have not seen any of them, you should. Nick here says, I'm here for TNA late next week. I have Friday off. Yeah, I didn't know TNA was airing at 10 next week, which is weird. I don't know what's happening at 8 for them to air it at 10, but I'm glad it is live. I'm excited about that. But we are back with TNA, and we got the Rascals or Trey Miguel and Ace Austin on the screen, but Tessa Blanchard is in action tonight, and that is what is up next. And then after that, let me flip through the thumbnail here. We still got the tag team match with Joe Hendry and Elijah versus Frankie Kazarian and Ethan Page. And that might be just about it because we just got the Hardy compound. So that's what we're looking at now. So let me change this to the Tessa Blanchard picture here. If you don't know, Tessa Blanchard is challenging Masha Slamovich to the TNA Knockouts Championship this coming Sunday at Rebellion. I do have a feeling Masha will be losing, but we'll see. Let's see here. RM says TNA needs some tag teams. That's definitely the case. They need some more tag teams. Christopher is saying, Anthony, do you think TNA is going live in California next week? They are going live in California next week, apparently at 10 o'clock, which would make sense now thinking about it, that they're in California and they're 3 hours, behind the East Coast. So it does kind of make sense why they are switching to 10 o'clock a little bit. A Jobson is asking me, who's my NFL team? I've said it a lot of times on the channel that I don't really watch sports outside of wrestling. But if I had to pick a team, it would be my hometown, the Buffalo Bills. I'm from there, so I'll just go with the Buffalo Bills. Denisha is asking me, did I watch the Chicago shows? I have not. I'm about 5 weeks behind, but I am catching up on 911. I'm halfway through season 8, so I'm enjoying it. Bradley, yeah, I mentioned that TNA would be late next week, early in the stream. Anthony Bradley, I'm sorry, I completely missed that. But now it makes sense. It definitely makes sense why it's going at 10 o'clock next week. Kyle says Tessa is the next TNA Knockouts World Champion. I absolutely believe that. And then let me go back up to Spaz's super chat if I can find it here. I get the awesomeness tonight, and Naomi lost at WrestleMania in the same 7 days. We tread this world blessed sometimes. Hey, Naomi losing wasn't all that bad, so I'm not upset about it. Christopher saying Masha is a beast. MDB has Tessa for the win. So yeah, drop your predictions in the comments for this match. Is it going to be Tessa? Is it going to be, I don't know who this is because I didn't see the name come up, but it looks like it's some local talent. So obviously I think everybody's going to take Tessa. Just saying. Just saying. Damien is saying, asking, does Joe Hendry lose the world title at Rebellion? It could be. But I see it more happening in that Slammiversary. He won the title at Genesis. You give him a good 6-ish months reign as the TNA World Champion. So I definitely see it being at Slammiversary before Rebellion, honestly. That's kind of how I feel. But we'll see. Everybody is saying Tessa. So Tessa's winning this. And I feel like Tessa is winning on Sunday as well. When it comes to Masha Slamovich, great wrestler. I don't know if they put as much effort on Masha Slamovich's reign as TNA World Champion or TNA Knockouts World Champion that they did with Jordan Grace. She's had some great matches as TNA World Champion. She faced Tasha, she faced Rosemary, she faced Cora Jade from NXT. All of them were really good episodes, but I mean, really good matches. I said episodes. I don't know where my mind is, but I feel like they haven't put the effort in like they did with Jordan Grace, which is okay. You know, they're still in the rebuilding stages of the Knockouts division. We've lost a lot of people, so hopefully that changes in the future. As we got Tessa Blanchard reversing here into a cutter. And it looks like Blanchard is about to go up for her finishing maneuver, which is like a springboard jumping code breaker thing. I forgot what she calls it. Magnum KX, which is a really cool name for a move. So she's not going for the pin. She's obviously picking her back up again. What is she going for? For buzzsaw, so like a DDT like move by Masha, by Tessa, I should say, as Tessa has pinned the local talent because I didn't get her name. But anyway, I'm gonna go back to the comment, read some stuff here. Denisha says, Anthony, you're gonna like 911 episode when you get caught up. I already know what happened. That's why I'm getting caught up as Masha is running to the ring, taking out Tessa. She's hitting Requiem or Snowplow. They changed the name so many times. But he or she who goes over on the go home show doesn't win at the pay-per-view. So I'm thinking Tessa wins. Absolutely not RM. Tessa does not need to be fighting jobbers, but we know the Knockouts division is lacking. So, but yeah. So Masha gets the upper hand. Masha's losing come Sunday. Alan is asking, what do you think about WWE PLE between, I'm believing you're assuming WWE and TNA, NXT and TNA? Definitely could see that happening one day. They're going to get to that point. Absolutely. Going down here in the chat, Anthony, do you have any new theories about them getting a new TV deal? I'm thinking you're assuming TNA getting a new TV deal. I do know they're currently working on it. So we got the TV deal in Canada with Sportsnet. And it's been talked about from Matt Hardy to Santino Morelli, and I think even Frankie Kazarian has gotten involved, that they are looking for a new TV deal in the United States. So I don't know if it happens in 2025. I don't know if it happens anywhere at the beginning of 2026, but I do think a new TV deal is coming. Because more eyes needs to be on TNA. More eyes needs to be on TNA. TNA needs to sign like 10 people for the men and women. They definitely, when it comes to the knockouts, they definitely have to do a little growing in that knockouts division, especially with the knockouts tag teams and just the singles competitor in general. When it comes to the men, they do need to sign some talent. I do know that apparently they've signed 3 international talents recently. I don't know who they are. So hopefully we find out what that is very, very soon. What's up, Kevin? Thank you for joining in. Masha is definitely losing. That's the case. I really feel that's happening. And I think they'll have a really good match. I think RM said in the chat earlier that her reign as champion has been forgettable. Absolutely. Nothing really spectacular coming out of this reign with Masha, but she can go in the ring. She can really go in the ring. So she's definitely losing now. Kyle is asking, could we see any surprise debuts on Sunday as the surprise returns to stream? But
yeah, more eyes on TNA, literally and figuratively. I got at least 4 eyes on TNA now. If we do Masha, I want Masha to win. She's so goddamn good, but could she just be that transitional to Tessa? And again, what's the response going to be? Tessa Blanchard, TNA Knockouts Women's Champion.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of people unhappy about
it.
Big mad. A lot of people that don't watch TNA unhappy about it. We shall see.
Right.
For me, when it comes to Tessa, how do I put this very, very nicely? When it comes to Tessa, I try to separate Tessa's wrestling ability and Tessa's mic skills from Tessa as a person. That's why I can, make the TNA reviews and make videos and just talk about Tessa and the storyline she's in. Storyline wise and wrestling wise, Tessa as TNA Knockouts champion is a good call. When it comes to her personal history, I guess whoever has the ill will towards Tessa will feel indifferent. But as a wrestler and as her character and how strong she is in the knockouts division, a championship reign for Tessa Blanchard was going to happen regardless if people approved of it or not.
I'm not going to get fully into details, but I'm going to strongly just keep going. Masha. Not no way, not no how, not no ever.
And like MDB said up here, I like MDB basically put it the best way I could put it. If we're talking purely between the ropes, Tessa is one of the best that, he's seen in a while. So absolutely. That's where I try to leave it. And that's the case. So I agree with you there. She's one of the best out there. And Fair that's enough. How I end it right there.
I'm saying, when do we see Killer Kelly come back? Well, she's already been involved with Wrestling Revolver. Could we see Killer Kelly come back? She gets involved, perhaps. I mean, she's got the history with Masha.
Yeah, I would love Killer Kelly to come back soon. Killer Kelly and Kylan King. Kylan King has been out for a minute, almost a year and a half ish. And Kylan King actually won the award for knockout to look out for in 2024, and then she got injured. And
they were just telling her to look out. It wasn't for her, the one to look out for. They were telling her to look out.
Exactly. So I hope she comes back soon. I hope both of them actually come back soon. They'll definitely help the women's division. It would be cool to get Killer Kelly and Masha back together. What were they? MK Ultra, that was some fun times. That was some fun
Absolutely.
times.
As we're getting a replay of the match from Unbreakable, but you mentioned it, we haven't talked about it, I feel. It's very funny of TNA signed a couple international stars. Everybody pulling close. They've signed some international stars. No one knows who the fuck they are. No one that reporting that they've signed can say anything about anyone. That's a little weird to me of like, we've signed international talent, but not a name, not nothing, no announcement, none of this. Like, it just seems very mysterious unnecessarily.
It's definitely very mysterious because it's like, who did they sign? Is it somebody from New Japan Pro Wrestling? Who is it? And these rumors came from Sean Ross and them other people that think they report news very well. So this could very rarely not be true here.
Well, do I think that TNA has signed talent? I would say yes with that. Do I think that they've signed international talent? I would say yes to that. Do I think that it's shrouded in this weird mystery history? It's mysterious and not Ronald. All of that is a little weird to me. I feel like TNA at this point would be very upfront with anyone that they've signed. They've been announced with anyone that they've re-signed, let alone signed.
That's true, because just recently we saw the signing of Elijah. Like, they were outspoken about that, had that out very, very quickly. So yeah, it's definitely a little weird that we're only, getting just they signed some talent. So we'll see. We might even see people at Rebellion. I don't know. Last year last year at Rebellion, we got Mike Santana. So we could definitely see somebody here at this year's Rebellion.
If you had to say an outside chance of who it would be, and even if it's just a return, as I've got EY and Macklin, I'm assuming this is history of them reminiscing over a campfire.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, but who, if you had to say an outside chance, would be a big splash debut, signee, return, what have you, for TNA at Rebellion, since you brought up Santana showing up?
Off the top of my head, I can't really think of anybody who would be a big splash, like would get the wrestling world a buzz. I can't think of any. Who, maybe someone in the Knockouts division. You could have one of the women that was just released from WWE. I can't think of her name. I think you may know where I'm going with this. She was with Dexter Lumis.
Oh, Indy Hartwell.
Indy Hartwell is a good shout.
You pair with Steph again. You get when she was Persia Parada out there in NXT.
Right. Yeah, you could do something like that with Indy. Another big-ish name for the Knockouts. I don't know if Sonya Deville wants to show up at Rebellion, but I would like Sonya Deville. She has the wrestling style for the Knockouts division, so that would be cool. On the men's side, that's a better question for you, Nick, because I can't think of any.
Well, I was going to say, with Indy with Sonya, does she go podcasty route? Does she go the Mandy Rose? I can't remember her shoot name, but those whole little, they're friends IRL. So do they go more that route? Indy's not a bad shout. I don't know if she'd be the biggest shout off the top of my head, because again, I don't know if I'd go like a Wardlow or anything. I don't know if they'd fit in TNA. They could always show up. Trevor Lee is a guy to me that I could see, because he's got history with TNA. He's a free agent. I mean, maybe it's a Cardona. I think he likes being a free agent, but again, to me, the biggest name that's out there that has a history with TNA, that he built, how he got signed by other companies, was his run in TNA, would be Trevor Lee, would be Cameron Grimes, for those uninitiated.
I definitely forgot about Trevor Lee.
Don't worry, most everybody did. WWE did.
A good one. And then one that just came to my head too. I think he goes by, Yes, Dijak. I was like, I think he goes by Bishop now. Dijak is another
Well,
one.
that's Bishop Dyer of if we got a Baron Corbin, which actually isn't also a bad shout as well. If you get him and you get him with Nemeth and all of that, if they've got clearly a connection. That's the thing is you got that would actually be probably the top three of Dijak, Bishop Dyer, formerly Baron Corbin, Trevor Lee, formerly Cameron Grimes.
Yeah, I think all of those. I think those two for the men would be perfect. I can definitely see Trevor Lee showing up on Sunday. Now I'm kind of excited for Sunday. I'm thinking about who showed up at Genesis. So we did have a signee at Genesis, and that was Mance Warner. So I think they'll do the same here for Rebellion too. So we'll see.
Fair enough. All these TNA pay-per-views with these biblical ass names and everything, Genesis, etc.
Right. No, I hear you. They got some biblical names
I'm
there.
waiting for the apostles to come down. Can we get a 6-man tag match between the apostles? I'm taking St. Peter. I think he goes over. Paul Heyman might help St. Peter win.
Exactly. And it seems like the chat kind of agrees. I see RM down there saying Dijacking or Corbin would be great in TNA. I fully shoot, I'll put money on that. Like they'll be great in TNA.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, even is it technically a return of, say, a Killer Kelly comes back or a Jessica Havoc shows up?
Yes, like I don't, and she's still on, and I'm gonna check before I take a pause here, but I think she is still on the active roster page on their website. Let me see here. Well, maybe they removed her.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, I think she might be removed. Let me run back through this again because I know my eyes get ahead of me, but um yeah,
Well,
she's gone, but Killer Kelly is still there. Kylan King is still there. So those are options to return for the TNA front. And then you have those guys and gals that we just named to return as well, or
right.
or
Well,
or show up.
yeah. Well, it's a little halfway surprising that they had Hammerstone and didn't manage to make that work.
Yeah, and then the injuries that happened, it was unfortunate. It really was because he could have been a top guy, but it was unfortunate what happened with Hammerstone.
Right. But Marvin said, hopefully Madman Fulton comes back. But I think Anthony is going to take a get back for a minute and be right back.
Absolutely, absolutely.
There we go. I don't know why it always just doesn't want to have me on stage. Doesn't like my face. It doesn't like me. Do you people like me? But I digress. But yes, MDB, we're going to the Biblics out there. St. John is definitely whooping all their asses. Well, you can talk about your Psalms, you can talk about your John 3:16, but Big Nick's had St. Patrick gonna whoop some ass. Man, we're offending all of the face now, but would it be wild if we see Veer and TNA? Actually, Veer Mahan, I don't know if he's actually even still technically wrestling. If we got Jinder and I can't remember what name he's going under now, if he showed up in TNA, because I know he's done stuff with Maple Leaf Pro and all of that, that wouldn't be a bad shout. Yeah. Oh, thanks, MB. Let me know. Well, I'm all right. Could you see Tegan Knox in TNA? That's actually a really great shout. Tegan Knox in TNA. I mean, just for the alliteration alone. Obviously, she can't use that name. It would be I can't. God damn it, I can't remember her shoot name as I shouldn't. But her being out there, and again, she can add depth and add longevity, what have you, to the knockouts division, and be somebody that's gonna, can float between top card and mid card and everything. Of they really, and she would actually be a true debut, not a return, not a welcome back, any of that. And I do want to actually see her involved. I was a fan of Tegan Knox until just goddamn she decided to have the knees of a 75-year-old. I got that one. Damian, Rosemary, Lee, Zaya Brookside versus Fatal Influence for Rebellion. Countdown to Rebellion. Did they announce it for the pre-show? I think we halfway, or Wikipedia and me reading Wikipedia announced that match before they announced it. But yeah, I didn't know it was on the pre-show. Raj Desi, thank you, Kyle. Yeah, and I don't want to guess at the name, but anyone that can remember when it was Jinder and Veer, and they had their third partner who he for a while was actually kind of like a strong, heavy, and a managerish vibe in NXT and all of that. I think that's again, those are a bit of three wasted talents. I mean, does the Authors of Pain show up in TNA? Do we get that as they're the new tag team force, what have you? The System versus X-Pac, Russell's Ace Austin official for Rebellion. Has that been announced? Sangha, yes, Sangha. Thank you, Christopher. 100% Sangha. But Elijah on the pre-show, Fatal Influence. I see everybody. I see Craig. I see Hassan. I see almost 50 people watching with us. Let's see if we've been up in the 60s and the 70s. Let's see if we can get back up there. As I do, I'm peeking on the NFL draft again. My team, Anthony's team, and some of y'all's teams, the Buffalo Bills don't pick till later on. But let me halfway know if you're happy with your draft pick if you're watching it. But yeah, so far on Wikipedia, they haven't announced anything as far as what's a pre-show, what's not a pre-show, and everything. So I'm going by Wikipedia. I, unlike other, people that do this things, will announce where I'm sourcing things from. But we have the Ultimate X match of Moose, Casey Navarro, Leon Slater, Matt Cardona, El Hijo, and Sydney Akeem, aka Reggie. We've got a singles match between Elijah and TBD. We've got Fatal Influence of Fallon, JC, and Jasmine versus Rosemary Zaya and Lei Ying Lee, formerly Zaya Lee. We got Mike Santana versus Mustafa Ali in a Falls Count Anywhere match. We've got we've got the Elegances versus the Metaphors versus Spitfire versus Chemical X in a 4-way tag team match for the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championship. We got Macklin versus EY for the International Championship. We've got the Hardys versus the Nemeth Brothers for the tag belts. We've got Masha versus Tasha for the Knockouts belt. We've got Joe Hendry versus Frankie Kazarian versus Ethan Page for the TNA World Championship in the Call Your Shot match for Kazarian as he's coming out with the trophy. X-Pac will be at Rebellion. How do I miss this? How did I miss this too? Yeah. Give me my Sean Waltman. Someone confirm or deny. Give me a source that I can rely on, that I can use as a crutch, because I see no X-Pac, no 1-2 freak it on the show so far. Fatal Influence and Elijah Open Challenge or pre-show matches. Fair enough, RM. Again, if they announced it that way, I missed it. I'm literally just sourcing off of Wikipedia because, we talk a lot. But yeah, as I got Ethan Page coming out right now. Nick, do you know who shouldn't retire and had character in a fan base? Rick Boogs would have done well in TNA. Actually, that's not a bad show. Rick Boogs would have, why am I blanking on his name? Zack Ryder's buddy there. From the University of Mojo Rawley. Would Mojo have done well in TNA? Well, just then it almost you halfway. You need to make sure you don't go too far, and TNA just becomes WWE runoff. Like, no way, Jose. Respectfully, I most might say no way in TNA. As I got the lights out, as they got Kazarian and Ethan out here. X-Pac teaming up with the Roscoes. Fair enough. I don't know how I feel about old X-Pac wrestling on TNA pay-per-view. I don't mind it. I mean, Mance can still halfway-ish go, but yeah. I just haven't seen anything in front of my eyes right now outside of you commenting, sir. So I don't want to say it and confirm it if it ain't confirmed. That's all. I would still absolutely love to see it. And again, you've got, master of the light heavyweight division, the cruiserweight division. X-Pac's a little bit of that underrated guy. Remember, he was that guy that when like a Jericho, what have you, would come over from WCW, they'd get a feud with X-Pac, 1, 2, 3 Kid, Sean Waltman, all of that. So to kind of test, he was the litmus test. He was the barometer of if you could do the WWE style, I'll say. He's a big boy. Who I'm assuming we're talking about the tight end that just got drafted, but I got Elijah out here. And I don't know if I have like non-flashbacks or what have you from all the heel turns of WWE, or we kind of thought it was going to happen beforehand. I'm almost waiting for Elijah to turn heel on Joe Hendry. Say his name and he shall appear. And he's got the K2 tape on that shoulder. So again, don't know if it's, shooty or kayfabe or if it's somewhere in between. Oh, maybe at the end of the show, as maybe we're wrapping up, or if there is a commercial break here or something, I might want to ask Anthony of how he feels about the whole David Greca Dwayne situation. But again, if you have a feeling on that, as I've said it now, let me know. Maybe I'll click on it. We can talk about it. But yeah, we're getting super intense. Are we going to get Gunther versus Pat McAfee and The Rock versus Dave LaGreca at Backlash? Hopefully, Richardson will use him. Who's what? Hendry teased facing Oba on NXT, so he's definitely retaining a Rebellion. Fair enough. I don't know if I'd ever see Joe Hendry versus Oba. I don't know if I'd exactly even say if that's a burial, but that is one of those of Joe Hendry does not win that match. So he is walking in knowing he's going to lose. I'd rather see this budding feud between Joe Hendry and Trick kind of blossom, because again, Trick's really at this point of what else. He's like a Roxanne of what do you have left to accomplish here. So him using NXT as a platform to bring in a match with Joe Hendry, what have you, might be a thing. Trick's on his last legs in NXT, I feel. As we are on the way. So again, folks, let me know who you're taking. Whether you got Joe Hendry and Elijah, whether you got song singing and guitar picking versus Ethan Page and Christ almighty, what did I literally order? Frankie Kazarian. I was like, why did I literally look at it? Then the vitamins hitting heavy, but yeah, I forgot his name. But Frankie Kazarian and Ethan Page versus Elijah and Joe Hendry, folks. Let me know who you're taking. Atlanta Falcons on the clock. There you go. Hopefully Richardson will use him a lot instead of launching 50. I get you. You're talking about the Colts pick. There you go. Fair enough. Well, yeah, I made the mistake of taking Hampton and Richardson a year or two ago in my dynasty league. I'm glad I picked up Michael Penix as a free agent. Yeah. There's a reason I have the number one pick in dynasty league. But yeah, Joe and Elijah Kyle's taking Joe and Elijah. But again, the rules of he who goes over on the go home show loses at the pay-per-view. But again, could it be Elijah takes the pin and we get a different outcome? Because this is, Elijah's not in this match, damn it. But this is, your whole triple threat added somebody here. Ethan Page and Kazarian for the win. Jobson staying right. Joe Hendry and Elijah for the win. And again, anyone else out there, and I think we kind of initially thought that field, but now they've paired them together. But it's almost that same vibe of when we saw Sami Zayn out there on Monday Night Raw. I just always constantly think Elijah's just going to turn heel. And he doesn't have to join with Ethan Page or Kazarian or whatever. He just decides, I'm going to smash guitar over Joe Henry's head as I got old school. Elijah dumping Kazarian out on the outside. Joe Elijah for the win. Damien, I find out all my breaking news of TNA's matches on TNA Wrestling X account. That's how I found out the System versus X-Pac, Rascals versus Austin. Fair enough. Well, good on you, my guy. Trust me. We're just also kind of a little doing this whole live show thing. So I'm not trying to exactly check Twitter that much. And by the way, Elon's not seeming to be a big fan of me. I think I'm on my like fourth Twitter. Yeah. The heels for the win as I'm in commercial break on TNA as we've got the run through of Mel's best available on the draft. Hassan saying I vote for Joe Hendry's team. Joe and Elijah win. Dick Butkus, I guess wasn't exactly always a former team, but again of the Chicago Bears lineage out there with Mongo. That's how I'll segue that. I can't believe that people don't believe what I believe when they don't say what I actually believe. Can you believe that? I can't believe that at all. It's outrageous, 100%. That not everybody is of one, cohesive pod mind and everything that we, out there with the varying of differences of opinions and everything. But 100%, folks, if you want to hear all the opinions on wrestling and you want to have your voice heard, we aren't just the voice of this. We aren't the voice of the voiceless. We give the voiceless a voice out here, 100%. So 100, doubling down on 100%. If I can say something else different, but absolutely. We're out here. We've got all the discussions. Trust me, we'll battle back and forth. Again, we're known for rants, arguments, and talking in the chat. So again, and instead of being, the voice of the voiceless, we give the voiceless a voice. So be a friend, tell a friend, spread the good gospel of wrestling out there. We're popping off all the way out of WrestleMania week and everything. We're ever so close to 7K subscribers out there. We're tiptoeing by the window of 500 people in the Discord, all of that. And we might be having a few things up the sleeves again, often imitated, never replicated, never duplicated up to something season, never sleeps. So 100%. Tap in with the fastest growing wrestling channel out there. 100%. Have your voice be heard. Be a part of the biggest community out there, the growing community that's out there spreading, actual, sensible, logical, reasonable discussion when it comes to wrestling. The anti-IWC, the WFU, the Wrestling for Life Network. Kyle, in an evolution potential book, Nick, what do you think would be bigger, Io versus Julia or Steph versus Rhea? Oh, that is interesting. That is a spicy question. And I got a spicy man joining me, and Curry Man, also known as Ringsider Anthony. He's taking up the mantle. Christopher Daniels has done the newest Curry Man on the block, but my guy, Io versus Julia, Stephanie versus Rhea. Which match you want to see?
I can't. I know.
I was the same thing. A little verklempt.
I can't choose both. If I had to choose between those two, I'm gonna take Stephanie versus Rhea.
I'm gonna take Io versus Julia because I think you can tie in and show the whole history of Stardom, and I think you actually might get a little bit more personal because you actually do have a real history there, and you would have to get the maybe from what is it? It's not Golden Gate or whatever, the Marigold that kind of formed out of Stardom and everything that they've got a relationship with and everything. Maybe you get some of that footage. You can use that of Rhea versus Stephanie, of the Gooners, of all of those people that got really strong one hands and not so strong other hands and everything are really going to like Stephanie versus Rhea, shucky ducky, quack, quack. But Julia versus Io to me is better in ring.
No, that's fair. That's a fair comparison. Julia is really good in ring. Io Sky, like she's phenomenal. So I can definitely see why you would prefer Io and Julia over Stephanie and Rhea. Honestly, both matches are not a bad choice, but yeah, I definitely see it.
I think we'll see both matches at some point because you even had Rhea get involved in that segment on Raw. But I think one already has a pre-built story into it, and the other you would have to build the story as well.
No, agreed.
But yeah, sir, how you doing? As we Henry, Ethan Page, Frankie Kazarian, triple threat. Who you got?
On Sunday, who I got? I don't know.
All of the above, either right now, tomorrow.
So right now, I'm taking Ethan and Frankie because I do feel like Joe's walking out world champ. I don't think they're letting go of that anytime soon because of how over he is everywhere in the world, every corner of facet of the world. That man is over. So I think he retains. So he can't win this match because he who goes over on the go home show loses.
Listen, it's a subjective law. It's not a concrete law. It's very much still in the scientific theory and everything. We're testing hypotheses, and unfortunately, the hypotheses tend to work.
I mean, it remains true, though. It definitely remains true.
Yeah, and that's why it becomes a law.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Boston out here exposing you. Anthony is excited for X-Pac.
I was excited for X-Pac until I realized he actually wasn't wrestling. So they put the match graphic up there, and he is the manager for the Rascals and Ace Austin for that match coming out.
Fair enough.
But it's not bad. I'm still excited to see him.
No, 100%. Break it down. But yeah, no, I read off what I saw, what I had at my disposal on the Wikipedia card, and that was not included.
That was not included. Okay.
Yeah, well, there was people in the chat, and there's probably still people in the chat that are saying that certain matches already been relegated to the pre-show, this, that, and the third, and I have not seen that.
So on the TNA website, the Fatal Influence versus Brookside, Lei Ying Lee, and Rosemary is on the countdown show. So that's basically TNA versus NXT right there. And that's the only match right now for the countdown show.
Okay, because I think other people were saying the X-Pac, Ace Austin, all of that match was
yeah, on the website they have that on the main card. They don't have the countdown to Rebellion as the graphic for that match. So
fair enough. As I got, because Aaron right now in here with Elijah, and I talked about this a bit. And again, chat, you can let me know how you feel. We kind of almost, when he showed up with Elijah, we thought he was going to ended up being a heel, and he turns on Joe Hendry, what have you. And that's your challenge. Is it a little bit of Stockholm syndrome of we've seen all the turns with WWE now, if everybody's a heel and we still expect Elijah, or at least I still expect Elijah to be heel? Do you think he stays a face?
I think eventually he turns. And it depends on how long we have Joe Hendry hold the title. Do we have Joe Hendry lose that Slammiversary, or do we have him lose that Bound for Glory? If he's holding it until Bound for Glory, you have the time to turn Elijah heel and then get that Joe Hendry Elijah match at Bound for Glory. That potentially could happen. But to your previous point of so many heel turns over the past 5 days, we've seen 70 people turn heel. It's been wild.
People turn heel, turn babyface, and turn back heel.
Exactly.
But yeah, maybe Elijah stays a babyface of. Well, or Richard saying Elijah open challenge says countdown. I guess he's got a match TBD.
Oh yeah, it does. I didn't see that. It does say countdown. Walk with Elijah open challenge.
Well, he's another guy that I think is a strong talent. Like he was over like Rover in WWE. He just kind of maybe reached the ceiling, and him in TNA. Maybe that's halfway why I feel he could be heel. Oh, I could see him being a TNA world champion at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see him having, it'd be obviously better, but something like AJ Francis, as how he was never really gonna make it in WWE. No. I just don't think they liked him, or whatever the case was there. And we've seen how well he's done in TNA. Elias was great in WWE, but like you said, he did hit that ceiling, he did hit that plateau, and this could be the place where he really shines.
A la Macklin, again, like you said, a la AJ Francis. I think AJ probably ruffled far too many feathers, and they weren't plucking it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a lot of stuff going on with AJ Francis, it seems.
Yeah, just gravity is one of them. Elijah open chat. We got that. Richard. We got you. We heard you. Anthony, Nick, what is your thoughts on the system? We talked about that already. Yeah, I've got Elijah and Ethan Page right now, both men down.
Both men are down trying to get to their corner. Joe Hendry just recovered here, and he has the like the shoulder brace on here. I didn't
The
notice
K2
that during
tape,
his
yeah.
entrance.
But is it one of those of like, respectfully, and I'm not a doctor, I did not stay at a Holiday Inn, I don't pretend to play one on TV. But if you're like really that hurt, like if you can't use your rotator at all and you're our world champ, maybe you should kind of rest that shit instead of keep doing this shit.
Instead of
So
wrestling, right? Absolutely.
that's why I'm like, maybe unless they have an end game involved, and Joe, can you get to here? And then you drop it and then you go away. That was the only outcome that this is to me. This is a viable, actual, real injury. Because he's got to, and he's going to work through it. I'll work through here and then I go away. I get it fixed. I go away.
Yeah, that could be the case. I'm also like in the back of my mind, like thinking how these episodes are recorded, and he didn't come out with that brace at WrestleMania. So it's like, is this story? It's definitely leading to a storyline.
Yeah, but if he shows up at WrestleMania with a abrasive, I don't know if anyone's going to know why he's showing up with a abrasive. All right, so Randy's kicking the shit out of a crippled. All right, this is interesting.
Oh, he got some height with that springboard leg drop.
What? Oh, dos amigos.
Kazarian over there pulling out all the stops.
Right. What do you think about the 2025 WWE draft starting in May?
Has that been announced for May?
I think it's been highly suspected.
Okay.
All of that. I'll say it now, and maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. If we did it, of each one of us owns a company, and if we were drafting, if we're going to build our own company, you represent TNA, maybe KJ has got AEW or vice versa, or WWE, of doing the draft that way, because I still like the actual WWE draft to me. They've made it not mean worth a shit at this point. We've talked about it. We've tried to defend it. They've tried to have brand loyalty. They have the wild card rule. Yeah, it's very hard at this point to keep track of who's supposed to be on whose show.
That's true. It's all convoluted at this point with what they're trying to do. I mean, I am, excited for the WWE draft. I liked when we did like our mock draft last year, and I think
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we got to do that again. I think we could change it around, like you said, and do it
with the first pick. TNA drafts Braun Breaker.
Exactly. This match is all over the place at close to the very end.
Right. As we're down to the nittiest to the grittiest of who said Brad? You said Brad. No one said Brad. Boston said Brad. I'll let you read this. I clicked on it. He asked it towards me, but you can.
I'm not paying attention to Boston. I am
not.
He's doing that to get at me.
Fair enough. Well, Boston's saying, when does WWE buy TNA? And I worry the writing might be on the wall a little bit. If we just bought TNA, or WWE just bought TNA, AAA. See, they're just moving down the alphabetical order. We were going from AAA, TNA, exclamation A. Hey, what do you say? Hey, by the way, we buy all them companies.
I'm still on the absolute no, because of the partnerships they have did to expand TNA over the past couple of months. They just signed a partnership with Bow Life to promote TNA products. They just signed the deal to be on Sportsnet in Canada. They're expanding their global reach overseas. There's no way in point in time right now that it's being sold to WWE with Elijah and Joe going over on the Go Home show.
Yeah, Elijah pins Kazarian with a tombstone.
Okay,
which,
now I'm kind of nervous for Sunday.
well, Elias got the win, Elijah got the win. So does that mean he loses versus TBD? And then
Could be.
we saved Joe Hendry. You fell on their shield. But with the, could we have the silent, I'll say, acquisition of TNA, or at least the heavily influenced TNA? Because is it a bad PR move for WWE right now to buy TNA? Does it really look like, so you weren't in it for a partnership? You're Thanos. Like, is it almost a bad PR move of, even as much as WWE's influenced TNA, all of that, if they out and outright buy them, do they come off as a bully at that point?
I think it would be bad PR, but I also read the partnership thing that they announced back in January today again. And in it just said that we are competitors, that we can work together, right? That can finally work together. I think, and I'm speaking on the IWC's behalf, what bothers me about the IWC is they have an outcry that there's no competition but for WWE, but constantly wants WWE to buy out the competition. Like, make up your mind. You want WWE to have competition, but as soon as you see something that you might think is possible, you want WWE to buy the competition. Honestly, just shut up. Because you're fickle. You're fickle. That's kind of how I feel.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's the left hand doesn't talk to the right hand and everything, and I'm sure probably for everyone that was watching that was backwards, but to me it made sense because our shit's mirrored. But even the whole competition conversation. So then, why did WWE buy AAA? Why didn't you just work with them and bring them into the fold like you did with TNA? I think we've gotten to a point with this relationship with TNA of, I won't say that they should, would, probably have, could, all of that out and outright buy TNA. I think it's going to look a lot worse of if they slow play the transition versus if you get a press release right now, they bought TNA. And I know I don't work for their PR department. I know I can hear some people that are probably like, fuck it, send it. But you don't want to look like the bully of, you're just Thanos out here collecting anybody that's going to work with you, because then no one wants to work with you because I don't want to get bought.
And that's the thing that's most scary. And I like that there's options out there, and when you start taking options away, and I'm not saying AAA was big or anything. I don't know anything about AAA. That's why I don't really talk about it that much, about them buying it, because I don't know. But when you start taking away options from wrestling fans, I think that becomes a problem. We've seen that back in the day when WWE bought WCW. It was WWE Island for years. But from TNA's track record of what they've been doing over the past couple of months, well, like I said, the partners, they just signed the partnership with like Bio something, I can't remember the name of it, for brandings and stuff. They signed the deal with another company for apparel, TNA branded apparel. They just signed the Sportsnet's deal in Canada. They expanded their global reach with WWE going to Netflix. So they're being seen all across the world. There is no point in time, with everything happening with TNA and the growth of the company, for them to be being sold to WWE. I wholeheartedly believe that. I will stand on business. I will die on that hill. And if it does happen, I will come on this stream and say, I was wrong. WWE bought TNA. But as of right now, and what I can see, it is not happening anytime soon.
Well, no, and I get it, and 100%. And yes, we did reach the end of TNA Impact, the go home show for Rebellion and everything. But I absolutely agree with everything you just said there, because now, granted, at the same time, everything you said they could have done with AAA, but they bought AAA outright, and now we see how much they get involved with it. That's where this gets interesting. I saw, or I'm saying WWE could buy Noah. We knew Triple H beforehand wanted to expand internationally and everything. But I think this is done really well of, you can have your hand involved, but don't just force your hand too much. If you've got to really, tread lightly with a lot of this. And again, the competition as it is, that's even why AW is a whole thing. But uh Denisha is saying Big Nick, they discussed this with WWE, they agreed to work with. And that's the only thing that again I worry with. And I still really praise that WWE is willing to work with other companies, like work with Noah, work with TNA. But it does get interesting when they turn around and buy AAA out the blue, not talked about, not hinted about, announced on WrestleMania. Of That's a big domino in the wrestling world that kind of fell.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, from what I'm understanding and from what I've saw a little bit from the fans, like I said, I don't know AAA. From what I've been
If
reading,
they're not the
AAA
biggest
was a
wrestling
failing company.
promotion, they're the second. Sorry.
From what I've seen, they were saying that AAA was losing a lot of money. I don't know how true that is. I just don't know. But I mean, I can't speak on AAA because I don't watch. But when I watch TNA every week, when I'm a part of these insider groups on Twitter and stuff like that, like I'm a part of the TNA crowd. I know things that I just won't share on screen. I just don't think that's in the I just don't think that's in the cards right now. And like I said, I'll stand on business that TNA would just be fine where it is.
Him and Dixie go out for a nice seafood dinner every Friday night. Now that you said all of that, that's you letting the cat out of the bag. I'm like, share it, share it, share it. Yes, my guy, that does TNA. That does the go home show for Rebellion. How you feel, and folks, let us know your rating out of 10 for the go home show for TNA. How you feel, and how much are you more excited? Are you excited going into Rebellion? I know you are, but I'm asking the chat. Yeah. How you feeling? What's your rating out of 10 tonight, sir?
I'm at a 7.5.
Mm.
I you know what? I'm gonna stick with 7. I did like the episode. I liked the opening match. The opening match was really good with the Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz versus the System. I thought that was fun. The ending match there, the main event, that was fun. That was really good. I actually want to go back and watch that. I also like the Hardy compound. That's up to, kind of that's up to debate or how you perceived it. But for someone who watched all 6 Sharknado movies, that was just right up my alley, and I loved every second of it. But as far as quality of the show, they didn't have like a pacing in my opinion. It just kind of it was kind of stagnant throughout the whole thing. You had a banger beginning and a banger end, and then the middle was like kind of flat. So I'm gonna stick with my rating of 7.
Fair enough. I don't know if I'd put Sharknado Watcher on my resume or anything like that, my guy. But yeah, I don't know if it's because we haven't talked since WrestleMania or just because like I really didn't like the Hardy compound just was not for me. All of that. Like I'm like a 6 tonight of I still think Rebellion's gonna be really good. Rebellion will mop the floor with Unbreakable, all of that. Rebellion will be 100% probably the best kind of pay-per-view to kind of close out April head into May. Um, but yeah, tonight to me was like a 6, and that's
Yeah.
just I don't know how I grade the Hardy compound because that's almost just a question mark of a grade. I don't know if I can give that a point.
No, I
I don't
understand that.
know.
That's why, for that segment alone, it's like it's really up to how you perceive that segment. Like I said, like I can list a whole bunch of movies that are so stupid that I love. Like there's a new movie that came out which is like Peter Pan as a slasher killer, and I love that movie. The Winnie the
I'm not
Pooh.
in that shit. Trust me. There's the Winnie the Poohs and all of
Yeah,
that.
Winnie the Pooh, Blood
There's the
and Honey.
rubes.
There was
I don't know if that was for me on a wrestling show.
that was and then there is Popeye the Slayer Man, which I really enjoyed. They're all cheaply made, and that's kind of how I took that in, is how this was kind of cheaply made and done. So that's why I really liked it.
Fair
um
enough.
But no, but knocking that segment is a fair statement because it really goes in on how you perceive it.
Right. Well, we got a variant. We got a 6, a 7.5, a 6. W is also looking to buy WWC, the Cologne's territory in Puerto Rico. There you go. South of the border expansion. 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. So a few people out there with you. 6.75. So MDB a little closer to you. 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 6 out of 10. I might be in the minority out here. 7 out of 10. And I felt for me, a 6 out of 10 was a strong voice of confidence. Because again, that's a big chunk of that middle of the show of just to me is question mark of to be determined of like, I don't know what to reach you.
That segment went from I was trying to time it as best as I can. It went from about 8:45, 8:50-ish to about 9:10 if you're Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, I mean, I get it. It was a bit long, but like I said, I tried to warn everybody going in, suspend your mind, suspend your imagination, and just watch it and be okay.
But that is the stuff that's always been the case, and you brought it up of that's always kind of been the case with the Hardy compound stuff and everything, and especially when you get into the Broken Hardy and the Brother Neros and the Willows and all that, of you either love it or you really dislike it. There is no real in between. You either are for it and you get it and all of that, you can turn your brain off, you enjoy it, or it just really doesn't work for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like it's one of those you love it or you hate it. It's no in between.
Right.
But absolutely, I'm still sticking with the 7 out of 10. I enjoyed the parts of the episode.
Fair enough. Well, it's 10-10 right now. I don't know if you got any speaking of the pieces or anything you need to do, but how you preemptively your rebellion rating right now 2 or so days out, which, by the way, again, we'll be back at it tomorrow like a jackrabbit for Friday Night SmackDown. But yeah, preemptively, what do you think now is going to be your end rating for Rebellion?
I don't want to go too high.
Yeah, don't bias it. Yeah, no, just
I'm gonna say a cool 8.
Okay.
Just looking at the card itself, I'm gonna say a cool 8.
I can see that. I mean, probably highest I'd probably go would be 8.5. But yeah, I could very much see that 7.5 to 8, 8.5 range. Absolutely, especially right now. If they can absolutely out deliver that, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. They can easily out deliver that like they did with Genesis. Because I think you asked the same question for Genesis, and I think I said an 8, and I think I gave Genesis a 9, or 9.5 or something like that. So yeah, absolutely, TNA can outpace that.
There you go. We're going back to the biblics. But my guy, you got anything you need to say to the people? Anything you still want to go through? Any comments you want to click on or anything?
Not really, other than we'll be back tomorrow for SmackDown and Saturday afternoon. We were recording it Saturday morning. It'll be out Saturday afternoon, but I'll be here with Nick from the last preview and prediction show, Genesis, to run over the entire Rebellion card. I'm excited for that. We're going to go through each card, both going to give our thoughts. We're going to talk about Joe Hendry at WrestleMania, still going to talk about the NXT partnership with WWE. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you have that bell clicked so you can get the notification when that drops on the channel on Saturday.
Absolutely. Be a friend, tell a friend. 100%. We're springing up Knicks all the way around, my guy.
Absolutely. They're everywhere.
I know, but that's the thing. It's funny because we're all friends too. So yeah, 100%. Love to see all the Knicks popping up out here. Can't wait to see Anthony and Nick out there with their predictions. Absolutely. We're back at it like a jackrabbit tomorrow. Friday Night SmackDown, TLC. Does Malachi Black show up? Prediction show. Nick and Anthony. 100%. Again, that's now even why you got to ring that bell. Like a referee, like a timekeeper. You got to ring that bell to know when it's going to be popping off and dropping off. And then we're back at it all the way through for Rebellion again. Often imitated, never replicated, never duplicated, up to something sees and never sleeps. Our shit is raw. Our shit is real. Our shit is raw. Our shit is all authentic. When you're talking about that rest, you're able to put that full life with it.
Come back tomorrow for SmackDown. We'll see you guys soon.